successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money's never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie at 800-486-9595. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you can get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 1-800-486-9595. That's 1-800-486-9595. Again, that's 1-800-486-9595.
This hour on WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
An excessive heat watch in place for today. Mostly sunny, hot, and humid. Peak heat index values today in the afternoon in the mid-90s. Isolated chance at showers tonight. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
80 degrees and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey?
Yeah, Rob?
I'm not letting you rain on my parade today.
What are you talking about?
I'm not letting you rain on my parade. No matter what happens here today, it's going to be a happy, happy day.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because Jamie Knoll's going to rot in prison.
Oh, my goodness. He took the stand yesterday for the first time.
He said he did it? All the things we said he did.
27 out of, what was it, 31
That's
counts?
right.
Yeah.
Eric, let me say this slowly for the people down at the State House and the governor's office. Eric Holcomb's best friend and closest political ally pled guilty to 27 felony counts.
Eric Holcomb can't hear you. He's on his way overseas.
His people can, though.
Well, his people can. They'll get him the message, right?
Now, Sean Bostic is going to be with us coming up at 9:30 to talk about all the details on this. But let's let this stew until we get to Sean here in about 30 minutes, okay? We're led to believe that the governor of the state of Indiana, the most powerful political person in the state of Indiana, had absolutely no idea that his best friend, closest political ally, member of the state central committee, one of the most powerful Republicans in the state, was living, but what Null admitted, $2.6 million.
Yeah.
I'm sure that maybe was a rounding error at this point. Roughly $3 million above his means. And we're led to believe that the governor, who was so close to the guy that there's photos of him on social media checking in on his kids at college, had no idea any of this was going on.
No clue. No. And you know what? I didn't put this together until just now. You know, Eric Holcomb is on an international economic development trip. He's overseas in Slovakia and also Italy.
Now,
the timing of this is curious.
Well, and look, I'm sure there's some sort of shoot-on-sight order if I get within 100 yards of the guy, so I can't do it. And I've tried. You know I've tried before, and I get the "it would not serve Hoosiers well" was the famous answer we got when we dropped off questions at the State House. If you're anyone in Indianapolis media, the story is right there. It writes itself. No reasonable person doesn't believe Holcomb didn't know something was going on. Why is nobody up here asking Eric Holcomb now, and especially now? There's no, well, he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, well, so was OJ, right? But there is no presumption, right? He's admitted he did it. He's admitted he did it. The amount of money he took, all the stuff, it's now been admitted in court. So no more, well, we got to let the process play out.
Well, that was his answer when he was asked about it. We'll see. Let it play out.
Yeah, it's played out. Will somebody play? I mean, this has the potential, depending on where the truth leads us, to be arguably the biggest story in the history of Indiana politics and government. The governor's closest friend and political ally is involved and now is admitted to these absolute heinous acts related to his role with public entities, etc., and nobody will talk to the governor about it.
It'll be a really interesting conversation with Sean Bostic later this morning.
Yeah.
We're going to have him on at 9:30. He was there.
Yeah.
He was there in the court. Jamie Knoll took the stand for the first time.
So anyway, I just want to start the show with that no matter what happens today, Jamie Null is going to rot in prison, and I'm optimistic that someone will finally ask Holcomb what he knew about his buddy and when. Oh, also, did you hear we're number one?
Oh, yes, in the ratings.
Yes.
Congratulations to our listeners for getting us there.
Yes, you the listeners did all the actual work, because without you, there is no us. But
they did the heavy lifting.
We did, because we know how that it just enrages internet trolls, anonymous internet trolls, and the people at the State House who listen all the time.
Who tell us that no one's listening.
Right, that we're number one again. So thank you to you, the listeners. You are the reason we take a victory lap today. Casey, the show is yours.
Isn't it interesting we actually have real data that says otherwise? Okay, let's talk about yesterday what happened, and that was that Tulsi Gabbard, former rep of Hawaii and somebody who ran for president herself a few years ago, endorsed Donald Trump and his bid for the White House. They did that at the National Guard Association's annual meeting in Michigan yesterday.
Okay, does this do anything for you?
Well, I think what it does for me is it puts a spotlight on who the commander-in-chief is. When you think about president, not only is he running the country, he's the boss of the troops. And this is coming from somebody who's put a lot of time in wearing the uniform.
Yeah, so that was kind of, Tony was talking about this when I was driving. And by the way, it took 9 hours to get into work today. You know, because again, 70's backed up, and then you get off 70 and everything downtown is backed up. And I mean, I don't know.
So you had some time to listen to Tony Katz.
Well, you've got to give huge credit to the Mensa members that are planning construction in the greater Indianapolis area, both at the state and local level. It just makes for such a pleasurable trip when there is no way to actually avoid the insanity, no matter what way you go. And so I heard Tony talking about this, and I tend to agree with him, which I'm loath to do, but I think he's right, which is, I'm not sure there's going to be a slew of people who, with the Tulsi Gabbard endorsement, now have changed their mind or made up their mind. But she does become a very valuable asset on the campaign trail, because Tulsi Gabbard ended Kamala Harris's presidential campaign in 2020.
Yeah, during the debate.
So you have somebody who's really good as an attack dog, is a Democrat, speaks the language, is with the Democrats on a lot of stuff, and she's going to be out there prosecuting the case against Kamala Harris.
Well, we heard from RFK Jr. He was saying there's going to be more Democrats coming forward. Obviously, he was talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and the base now, it seems, of the Republican Party is expanding, and with her endorsement, kind of solidifies it just a little bit. And Trump was praising her military service, and I think that's all a good thing, because if you're in the military, you want to believe in your commander-in-chief. And he was laying a wreath for the 13 soldiers in Afghanistan.
Where's Biden?
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. If you wear the uniform, you want to follow a leader. And you've got one guy who is grieving with the families and paying respect. And you've got the other guy who's, on a beach somewhere?
Is that where he is?
I think so. He's in Delaware, right?
Think about, you killed those people, not in the sense of like Joe Biden took a knife and stabbed them, or a high-powered weaponry and shot them. But those people are dead in Afghanistan because of you. Because of your policy, they're dead. Had you not done what you did, they would have still been alive. And you can't even be bothered to commemorate their death?
Yeah. So Tulsi Gabbard claimed that Trump offers the best chance of pulling the nation back from the brink of war. We're fighting things on multiple fronts, so maybe she's got a point.
So I mean what I say when I share with you that I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. Whether you're a soldier, you're an airman, a Marine, sailor, or a coastie, he keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. We saw this through his first term in the presidency, when he not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace, seeing war as a last resort. The truth is, as we head towards our decision as a country in November, the same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as this administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before.
Yeah, so she's saying that Trump is the only one that can pull us back from that brink of nuclear war. Obviously, her foreign policy views have been shaped by her experience as a combat veteran. I mean, she's been there. She's seen it. And for her, a 20-year Democrat to stand up and say, Trump is my guy, I think that does mean something. If nothing else, it's the exclamation point at the end.
If you're Trump, okay, so you got what? You got September, you got October. What are we? We're probably inside of I'm doing math in my head here. Are we 70-ish days, 80 days, whatever it is until the election? Shouldn't you just start running ads? And shouldn't the final close of your campaign be, I don't know if you know this, Casey, but I'm undefeated in elections I've run or run the campaign
I've
for.
heard that.
It's messaging. Campaigns, if all things are equal in terms of being able to get your message to people, which it is. They've got infinite money. The Republicans have infinite money. Democrats, they all do. Like, the messaging is not an issue. It's the messaging. And isn't the messaging, if you're Trump, don't you deserve better than this? Like, I would just be running a slew of ads, and they would center around, and every speech I gave and wherever I sent J.D. Vance or Tulsi Gabbard or Kennedy or whoever, don't you, the voter, believe you deserve better than this? Whether it's the border, it's inflation, it's the military involvement, all of these, the price of gas, and the tagline is, don't you deserve better than this? I don't understand why they just can't just get a message around that, because, what was it's always like how people relate. It's not even what you're saying, but it's how people relate to it. And I just think they have so many issues that are on their side, but they're struggling to kind of relate them to regular people.
So Tulsi Gabbard has been reportedly helping Donald Trump prepare for the upcoming debate against Harris. And we're going to talk debate on the way from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Kamala Harris is there right now. She's the de facto president because, let's be honest, President Applesauce Brains isn't calling the shots. It's her and the Obamas. And they're talking about how we need to have hope in this country. Donald Trump has not been the president for nearly 4 years now. And 12 of the last 16 years has been Democrat leadership. So why do we need hope? This is your doing. It's ridiculous.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
If you used to hear a whole lot of this, but now you can barely hear this, you need to check out RelayIndiana.com and CapTel, the caption telephone. CapTel allows you to get your groove back when using the telephone. It uses voice recognition technology so you can read on a bright screen what the other caller is saying. Go to RelayIndiana.com and add clarity back into your conversations with CapTel, the caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com now.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Folks ask, Salty Pete, what's the best part of being a pirate? Hello? It's all the buried treasure. I've been following this here treasure map all day. Time to dig. Oh, I once knew a lesson, old Charlie with... Arr!
You just hit a power line.
Contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before picking up a shovel. It's the only way to dig. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
Tomorrow starts at IU Indianapolis. Our students are the engine of Indiana's future, in powerful partnership with the country's leading businesses and organizations. We prepare each student to make impacts that matter right here at home, inspiring bold endeavors and life-changing careers. Bring on tomorrow, IU Indianapolis. Discover how we're powering what's possible at go.iu.edu/tomorrow.
Remember the big bad wolf? Miss Shalis does. Because around here, all that huffing and puffing and blowing houses down stuff comes in the form of rain, wind, and hail. And no matter what your structure is made of, Michaelis is made of first responders and craftsmen who can restore it to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's family-owned jewelry store, is dedicated to quality and fine craftsmanship. Let them help you celebrate that special moment in your life. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Gonna be another hot one today, Rob. Highs in the low 90s.
Except in here, it's 9 degrees in here. This is why I have trouble when I go to work, because I have to dress for 2 separate weather events within 5 minutes of each other, which is the 10 million degrees when I leave my house and I'm coming home.
Yeah.
And then the 0 degrees that it is in here, which you would think Mr. Smolian, because he's now in the money-saving business because he doesn't own the radio stations anymore, would be like, no, we're going to leave it at 80 degrees.
Right.
But
So
it is continually, which would maybe even be better because then I could just dress. I could have just one set of dress.
Yeah. You've got a T-shirt on, but then a sweatshirt.
Well, because again,
it's like you're living in Miami because you have to do that all the time down there in Florida.
Inside, outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's brutal, and it's really makes it difficult to just prepare for the day. Anyway, I'm sorry. What were we doing?
Well, I was going to talk about how the humidity is going to make it feel like it's 100 to 110 outside today.
Yeah.
So we have to give a shout out to everybody who works outside today in this heat and hope that they take a lot of water breaks and stay cool.
That's right. You know, it is a reminder. Sometimes I don't know if you know this. Radio people have egos, Casey. Did you know this?
Yes.
It is a reminder, and we will sometimes complain about
some of the hardest to manage. They're fragile egos too.
Various
need to be told how wonderful they
points
are
in our job.
constantly.
We will complain about things, and they need to be complained about. But then you put it in that perspective, right? Of like some guy is out digging a ditch today,
working
right?
Construction.
It really
somewhere.
does put some perspective on. However, when I was very, very young in radio, I was advised this, and I've used this saying for years about the benefit of working in radio, which is you will make no money, but it is climate controlled and no heavy lifting.
Exactly.
And I have used that phrase for years and years and years.
And supposedly no math involved either.
Right.
However, we do some math occasionally. All right, let's talk about the debate that's coming up. There's a little bit of squabbling and arguing over what's going to take place on September 10th. It's on ABC. Now, Harris and Trump, apparently, they're arguing over whether microphones should be muted. Except
no, she's arguing over
Well, there you go.
He's not arguing over anything. He's already agreed to the rules. She is doing this. She is being ridiculous because she wants the entire system gamed in her favor because she knows that's the only shot she has to win. And she is looking for the moment like she had with Mike Pence where she'll go, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. She's looking for some viral moment because she knows the mainstream national media is going to be operating as an arm of her campaign and will push whatever silly, nonsensical narrative she puts out there, and she wants Trump to talk over her.
Well, here's what Trump had to say about the whole issue.
President Trump, would you want the microphones muted in the debate whenever you're not speaking?
We agreed to the same rules. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. In that case, it was muted. I didn't like it the last time, but it worked out fine. I mean, ask Biden how it worked out. It was fine.
Yeah.
And I think it should be the same. We agreed to the same rules. Same rules and same specifications. And I think that's probably what it should be. But they're trying to change it. The truth is they're trying to get out of it because she doesn't want to debate. She's not a good debater. She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
She's not a smart person. She doesn't want to do this. They have a new ad running right now where it's Kamala debating Kamala.
You know, I hope, even though it is no longer Biden, Trump and the people around Trump have made him watch that debate and learned from that first debate because, now he did it by force, obviously, some cases, but even his body language, Trump did an excellent job of letting Biden speak And I'm not even talking like, obviously it would have been a weird visual if he's trying to talk and there's nothing coming out. He just sat there and looked at him and then do it again. It doesn't matter that it's Kamala. There's no defense of the record. The record is indefensible. You cannot spin the reality of people's lives. And I know he's going to be all gun-ho to make everybody know make sure everybody knows how stupid she is. People know that. That's baked in. Either people are going to vote for what's going on in the country or they're not. The judgment is on you, Trump. And one thing you can do to really win people over is sit there and be professional. And she's going to say a bunch of stupid stuff. And most people are going to catch on to that.
Yeah, he needs to be very controlled like he was during the debate with Biden. And right now, like you mentioned, just let her talk because when she does it, she's ruining herself. They have this new ad running, and it's running in swing states, and it shows Harris debating herself from previous comments that she's made on the economy.
Everyday prices are too high. Food, rent, gas, back to school clothes. That is called Bidenomics. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today. Ground beef is up almost 50%. There's not much left at the end of the month. Bidenomics is working. The price of housing has gone up. It feels so hard to just be able to get ahead. And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
A little bit of contradiction there. Okay, we need to let you know about Debate Night Live with WIBC. That is going to happen September 10th at 416 Wabash. As we come together, forget all the stuffy stuff. We're going to have some fun with this debate.
Wait. What are you saying? What are you even saying?
I am saying that you, my friend, have a date.
I got to go somewhere?
You have to go. You have to appear. We're going to have fun, lively discussion. Hoosier Hospitality, WIBC Debate Night Live.
I got to leave the house in the evening. I just got asked to do something tonight. I texting the person right now in the process before we came back from the break. Like, I don't do things at night. Like, the rule. I'm like James Earl Jones in Field of Dreams. All I want is to be left alone. I just, so what? I got to go do, what do I have to go do?
You have to show up. There's going to be hors d'oeuvres and drinks. There's going to be some audience participation with you, some networking, some WIBC giveaways.
Can I have Kurt Darling go in my place?
No. People want to see you. They want to shake your hand.
You have to take that up with my wife.
See?
Kurt Darling went on a political heater and nobody saw it coming. It was great.
If you want more info about WIBC Debate Night Live, just go over to WIBC.com. We're inviting you out for a fun night out.
So it was $10. That's it?
Yeah. And
$10 to get to hang out with us?
I believe you get a drink ticket with that.
Wow. We're practically giving it away.
Yeah. All right. We've got Sean Bostic who's going to join us next.
Yeah. Old Jamie Null said, I did it. And I took a lot of stuff. And, boy, he looks like he's heading to the pokey for a long-ass time, Casey. And nobody knows the Jamie Null saga like Sean Bostic. So he will fill us in what happened yesterday.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I'm a big fan of Zerorez because of their platinum cleaning systems for carpets and ductwork. Do something about that air quality in your home that filter changing just won't fix. Let Zerorez clean the ductwork with their state-of-the-art H2 HyperVac system and let them finish the job with the best carpet cleaning you'll ever find. Those Zerorez systems will safely and effectively remove all the deeply embedded dirt, dander, and nasty bacteria in your carpets and floors and ducts. Not only does the patented Zerorez process clean better than anything on the market, surfaces dry faster and your home and business will stay cleaner longer. The patented ZR water uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. Say goodbye to the indoor uglies in your ducts and floors. Now mention WIBC, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119, plus you'll get 20% off their ductwork cleaning systems too. 317-388-5141. Book online at zeroresindy.com.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure of
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Who they are getting behind. Radar is clear, 82 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Some high-profile figures in American politics are going the other direction with their vote this year. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The Harris campaign touting the endorsements from 200 Republicans who worked under President George W. Bush, Senator John McCain, and Senator Mitt Romney. A letter announcing the endorsements say the events of January 6 and former President Trump's relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin are reasons why they can't back their party's nominee. Meanwhile, Democrat-turned-independent Tulsi Gabbard, the former Hawaii Congresswoman, is throwing her support behind former President Trump. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A federal judge in Texas is blocking a program that would give legal status to illegal immigrants married to American citizens. The Biden administration plan started earlier this month would have affected about 500,000 immigrants in the country without legal status. The program was challenged by 16 Republican-led states, including Indiana. Apple is expected to launch its iPhone 16 at its event on September 9th. The company announcing several generative AI features for the new iPhone. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Big declines after some rallies last week. The Dow is down 94 to 41,246. The NASDAQ down 84 to 19,507. And the S&P 500 is off 17 to 5,620. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The hot summer and the hot deals are coming at Tom Roush Lincoln. 0% for 60 months is back. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every new 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Plus get an additional $4,000 off MSRP. You can also take $3,000 off every new 2024 Lincoln Corsair 70 available. So get in here for one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
For well-qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24401. MSRP 107,425. Stock number L24284. MSRP is 43,435. See dealer for complete details.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Visit the Marion Municipal Airport for high-flying fun at the Fly-In Cruise on August 31st. Discover antique aircraft, vintage cars, trucks, motorcycles, and autocycles. Take flight in historic aircraft and fill up at the all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. Get details at showmegrantcounty.com. Grant County, Indiana. Classic cool.
Indiana adventure is near. Come to Grant County this year.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Are you too busy to exercise and be healthy? Hey, it's Nigel. I felt that way 6 years ago, but then I started training at Exercise Inc. You go once a week for your private 20-minute workout, right? Adopt the 9 simple habits you need to follow to change your health and lose weight. And then enjoy life because you'll be stronger. You have more energy. The program has helped me lose weight. I look better. I feel better. I've had to buy new clothes because they fit different. 5 locations: Avon, Brownsburg, Greenwood, Zionsville, and now in Fishers. You show up once a week for your private 20-minute workout. Private studios, no mirrors, no music, and no spandex. Just you and your coach. Feel better. Lose some weight. Probably look better. And you might get off some of those prescription meds. Hey, those 5 locations again: Avon, Brownsburg, Greenwood. I go to the one in Zionsville, and now there's a new one up in Fishers. ExerciseInc.com today to sign up for a free consultation. ExerciseInc.com. One more time, that website, ExerciseInc.com. Tell them Nigel sent you.
Well, Casey, yesterday was a big day for the Indiana legal system. Our old pal, Jamie Null, said I did it.
Yep, former Clark County Sheriff. He took a plea deal, didn't he?
Yeah, he was facing 31 felony charges, I believe. He pled guilty to something like 27 of them. So not a lot of wiggle room there in the old plea deal.
Yep, the 4 that he didn't take, or actually the 4 that were dismissed, were about ghost employment.
Yeah.
All the other ones, he said, yeah.
So obviously we had touched on this in the lead up to what was believed that plea deal that ultimately did take place. And once again, to let us know what took place yesterday down in southern Indiana, and more importantly, why it pertains to us up here in central Indiana, Sean Bostic. He's with the Integrity and Accountability with Sean Bostic Facebook page. He has covered Jamie Null and alleged corruption involving him for quite some time. All right, Sean, kind of give us the details. What did Null plead guilty to? What was the punishment?
So right now, the judge has not accepted the deal. The judge is setting up a special hearing as part of the sentencing where he is requesting public comment, basically, by those that were adversely affected, whether it's the town of Utica residents that lost fire service, people that had bad EMS service, people, the EMS employees that needed equipment and were told there was no money. So right now he's pled, but the judge has taken it under advisement. And the four that disappeared, the four charges for ghost employment, they were incorporated under the official misconduct label. So Jamie sat on the stand, and Larry Wilder read the charges, and he pled guilty to each and every one of them. But once again, the judge did say, hey, I'm taking it under advisement, but first I want to hear the impact. And I have personally spoken to some of the Null family, members of his brother's family that were adversely affected, and I know they're registered to speak to the court that day.
The layers and the amount of people this guy has hurt is simply unbelievable. It really sounded like, based on the articles I read, now again, you were there yesterday, it sounds like this judge may, and we'll get to what the recommended sentencing is going to be here, but it just sounds like this judge may be like, nah, you're too bad for this.
Yes, that is a very distinct possibility that the judge, especially with the opening up the public comment, he may be swayed by the amount of public comment and say, this deal's off the table, we're going back to a trial. And if that happens, what happened yesterday basically vanishes and disappears into the space and time that it never existed, according to the judge.
What was the plea deal? Like, let's say the judge took it. What is Null looking at?
I'm holding it in my hand right now. That would be 15 years with 3 years probation after that. Now, good time and everything. He's looking up around 9 or 10 years based on that. And a repayment of, looks like $2.6 million. The repayment would go to Utica Fire Department and New Chapel EMS, which is now defunct and laid off their employees.
Was there any mention of Brittany Faree in any of this, or John Miller?
Well, John Miller and Brittany Faree had their arraignment right before Jamie's hearing. And they are deemed as co-conspirators because the corrupt business influence, Mr. Wilder even said the word racketeering, because that's what it represents. And to have racketeering, you have to have co-conspirators. And Mr. Miller and Ms. Faree were named as co-conspirators in this. And during the press conference afterwards, Special Prosecutor Rick Hurdle did state, I believe one of the Louisville networks asked, are there additional indictments? And he said that that's not outside the realm and wouldn't be surprising if additional indictments were coming down, which we're waiting on.
So Faree is the former Clark County council member, right?
Yes.
That Null had the child with out of wedlock, and then Miller is a Clark County law enforcement official, correct?
Yes, he was a Clarksville detective, and he was demoted at the end of last year, and then he was placed on administrative leave around, don't hold my feet to the fire on the date, but somewhere around February, March, in that time frame, he was placed on administrative leave. And there was some hubbub about him yesterday, whether he's still employed or not. And when I checked with Clarksville Police after the hearing, he is still on paid administrative leave.
All right, Sean Bostic, our guest from the Integrity and Accountability with Sean Bostic Facebook page. Nobody knows the Jamie Null saga better than him. All right, he gave a magic number, Casey, which is $2.6 million. So, Sean, I will ask this question publicly for the 7 people listening. We're either number one or there's 7 people. I don't know. Believe the ratings or what people at the State House say. You choose it. But how is it possible? I mean, we're in agreement, right, that Jamie Null and Eric Holcomb were essentially best friends, right? That is indisputable.
Yes, indisputable. So I know where you're going with this. I asked Rick Hurdle during the press conference afterwards, what's the likelihood of a pardon? He stated that he doesn't have those communications. But I did talk to some of the investigators, and the investigators are saying with 100% certainty that they have talked to Holcomb, and he is not going to issue a pardon. So we're kind of left at the mercy of time when it comes to this. I've reached out to the governor's mansion twice yesterday and getting ready to today to try to get a statement from Mr. Holcomb, whether he does or doesn't. That's up in the air.
Well, Holcomb's on his way to Italy right now, so good luck with that. Is there any indication that his name could be listed in any sort of racketeering or RICO charges?
Not on the state level.
So how is it possible, and again, I'll continue to ask this question, how is it possible, like Casey, if you suddenly started living a lifestyle $2.6 million above what you were living today, I might not know all the details, but I might ask you, hey.
You blowing your retirement early, huh?
Did a rich uncle suddenly show up at your doorstep? I mean, it's laughable, though, Sean, right, to act like Holcomb wouldn't have noticed something was going on here.
Oh, Holcomb, Pence, all of them, the entire 9th district had to have realized something, and we're running into that at the county level here. We've still got the loyalists in power, and they're playing dumb. I didn't know. I didn't think to ask a question that most common citizens would ask. Where'd you come up with that kind of money?
Let me in on that deal. Is what you'd normally be doing.
Jamie was a state trooper at Indiana Post 45 prior to being a sheriff, and he gets a very small pension. So his lifestyle, even before he became sheriff, was questionable. And but if you questioned it, the ones that surrounded himself, the politician, all said that you were trying to make trouble, you were trying to ruin a good man's reputation. Yesterday, I was called up in front of the judge for contempt because one of his cohorts had fabricated a story. Thank gosh I was sitting with state police, or right behind them, and they could account that, no, I was not live streaming the event. But I got called up in front of Medlock, and, I was brutally honest. I said, sir, no, I didn't. I know better, and I don't need 60 days in. And the judge found it funny. And at the end of the trial, he asked me to put a phone number out, which, Mr. Kendall, I sent that to you today. Do you have that available?
Which phone number would that be?
That's the 812 phone number that I sent you that Special Prosecutor Rick Hurdle is putting out publicly.
Yes, I do have that right here.
Yeah, so he would like anybody to list that could, so that any victims across the state.
Oh, great. All right, let's give this out real quick. Yeah, if you have been harmed by Jamie Null or his immediate family in any shape, form, or fashion, or if you've been harmed by Eric Holcomb, he could throw him in there too, just probably for fun. No, I'm kidding. This is only related to Jamie Null's crimes against humanity. 812-689-6331 if you have information on the Jamie Null case. 812-689-6331. All right, so real quick before I let you go, Sean, any chance, I didn't read anything in here that Null got a deal for his family. Is he just leaving them in the lurch?
He's leaving them in the lurch. Part of this agreement that I'm holding in my hand, there is no compelling him to assist with any further investigation. And the time frame, the sentencing, it's actually middle of the road. It's kind of where it needs to be. As much time as I would like to see added for charges from 2018 to now, it's a realistic charge. But yeah, he's left everybody else in limbo.
Can you imagine your wife and your kid?
Well, didn't she file for divorce?
Well,
she was I'm out of here.
She had to deal with him having that child with that other woman, and but even if you don't like your wife, because there's some men right now raising their hands. Like, yes, your kid. You think you'd help them? So nothing. There's nothing. Sean, you're telling me there's nothing in there for his kid. She's going to just basically have to defend herself?
Yes. Now, there was another hearing yesterday regarding Gracie. I was not present, and I've got to research that. Gracie is one that I don't like to even mention her name. She is an adult, but she has special needs and had nothing to do with this. And he's drug her through right into this. She's having to appear in court and has to have her own special advocate. And that's the type of guy we're dealing with that put his children into this place. Now, some of them were voluntary participants. They fell into that. But the one child in particular definitely had no dog in this fight.
What a greaseball this guy is. Sean Bostic from the Integrity and Accountability Facebook page with Sean Bostic. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you all. Take care.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Rob, are you within 5 years of filing for Social Security?
No, Casey, although many days I feel like it.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96% forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's all because they file for their benefits at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. If you've saved more than $200,000 for retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
You know, for some people, filing for Social Security early could result in more net income in retirement. This free analysis pinpoints exactly how you can get the most income from Social Security. So call Bill Demery now, 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, what does the polling say and why you should throw it away? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
It's happening. Indiana is investing in our hometowns. Statewide, each region selected the local projects most important to our quality of life. And with the help of Indiana Ready grants, real progress is all around us. With the help of a $1 million Ready grant, the City of Kokomo and Ivy Tech's new Industry 4.0 training lab will help revitalize the region and train workers in cutting-edge 4.0 smart manufacturing systems. Over $3 million in Ready grant money for major road and infrastructure improvements in Peru is helping bolster the city's exciting new developments along the Wabash Riverfront and Riverwalk Way. It took bold thinking and working together to put Ready into action. And there's more to come. Learn more at IndianaReady.com. That's IndianaReadi.com. Brought to you by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. ForTheBold.com.
Hey, it's Casey Daniels, and you know you've heard me talking about Premier Arms, and now they're asking you to come support Indiana's veterans of foreign wars. You can join WIBC at Premier Arms there. It's their anniversary party. It's coming up on Saturday from 2 until 6. And to celebrate, we're going to have live broadcasts from the Eat, Drink, and Smoke show with Tony Katz, and also the gun guy, Guy Relford, is going to be there. Plus, you can visit premierarms.com right now to bid on some auction items for VFW Indiana. So they're going to have food and drinks and prizes and that fantastic firearms auction. And it's all to raise money for Indiana's VFW. So don't miss the big anniversary party at Premier Arms. It's in Brownsburg, and it's this Saturday at 2 p.m.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Referred to CNN as objective, and the entire audience laughed. I don't think he was trying to be funny, but it came out that way. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And then Bill Maher had Caitlin Collins from CNN on his show, and he was asking her about how the audience was laughing at that remark.
They don't get it, right? I mean, well, this is the question. Do they not get it? Or do they understand what's going on and they say, well, we're just so in the tank, we don't even care that we're literally being laughed off stages now?
And when you say they don't get it, you mean the people at CNN?
Yeah. I mean, well, pick your favorite, one of these liberal networks, MSNBC, or, even you could extrapolate it to how people view the New York Times or the Washington Post. I mean, people know. Now, you may consume it, even if you know it, but people know. I mean, I think that is the thing that always irks me is you and I don't pretend that we're objective. We are not. I mean, there are some issues we're less passionate about than others, and there might be some issues where we're like, I don't really have a strong opinion on this one way or another. But by and large, we offer opinions, right? Like, we want you to think the way that we think. CNN still out presenting itself as some sort of fair, arbiter of information, and everybody knows, like, you guys are total fraudsters. You're a complete joke.
Okay, so let's play this clip as Caitlin Collins tries to defend her network, and then we can discuss what she said.
And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
How is CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on another night. I think lawmakers from both parties should take questions, and you should push both of them. But on CNN being a place of credibility, I mean, look at what just happened in Chicago. We had 300 people from CNN on the ground covering that convention. There were several reporters from just our team alone on the floor, bringing it in real time to people. And I think CNN puts resources behind things and just brings a level of news that you don't get anywhere else. And I think CNN does a great job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. I watched Kamala's speech last night. It ended at 8:09, I guess 11:09 in the East. It wasn't until 11:23 till the one conservative guy, what's his name?
Scott Jennings.
This Lonely Scott, I call him.
David Urban was there too.
Wait a second. I watched from 8:09 to 8:23, they were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. But if I'm a conservative in America and I'm watching CNN, just for the straight middle of the road, that's what I hear for 15 minutes, is it's great, and then Lonely Scott. It does look, and when you see it does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. It's like it's almost better to have nobody there, like MSNBC.
He's 100% spot on, and I thought her answer was fascinating into the insight. Now, whether she believes this or not, I don't know. But they look at it as, well, we were there and we covered it.
Well, she said we had 300 people there in Chicago. Yeah, all parroting the same thing.
Right.
That's not balance.
Right, and you look at, Mara was spot on with this. You look at the guests, you look at the coverage, you look at the tilt of the coverage. It's not fair, nor is it balanced. It's almost 100% negative when it comes to Trump and how they spin it and who they talk to, and it's all great when it's Kamala. I mean, look, if they were out there covering the DNC and they were saying, boy, she said this and she said that, but the facts on the ground, don't back this up. Look at the condition of the price of everything, blah, blah, border, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, no problem with that. You're giving both sides of it. You're presenting her side and then you're giving the other side, but they're simply not doing that. And why people who own stock in these corporations are willing to tolerate this, because it's clearly costing you money based on the fact that there's a huge portion of the populace who won't tune in. I don't understand why these people hate making money so much.
Well, she said, we have different politicians on. One night we'll have Elizabeth Warren on, and the next night it's Ted Cruz. True, but it's how they react when they're there. One is very welcoming and friendly, and the other is a very contentious conversation.
Here's the thing about politicians, though, and I will say this as did you see we're number one in the ratings?
Yeah, I saw that.
I will say this as someone who is half of a show and has been a part of a show now for 4 years that, in general, does not use politicians. Politicians are boring. They are boring to listen to. They are self-absorbed. They are self-grandizing. They are in it. They're very, unless there is some hot button thing, the politicians generally do nothing for your ratings because you can get them anywhere, anytime. People tune in, as we call it here, for the heat, right? Like people tune in to hear our opinions on things, our takes on things. Politicians, they know they're just getting spin, which is why very rarely do we actually have politicians. Sometimes in super rare occasions we do, but not often. And the idea that, well, I had Ted Cruz on, well, that doesn't do anything for me. You treat him like complete garbage when he's on there. Now, he's fine coming on to fight with you, but Elizabeth Warren, who's tuning in for that?
We've got an audio clip we might get to later in the show where a reporter just totally let Elizabeth Warren have it. And it's hilarious because it rarely happens. They just let the politician talk as much as they want, get their message out, and they never call them on it.
I had a conversation with somebody about a politician who they are trying to, the show is doing so well that they are trying to convince this politician, hey, you need to make nice with Rob, and they're having a bit of a struggle with that. And I just told this person the other day, and I obviously won't name the person or whatever, but I said, you tell that person, I don't need them. I don't want them. They offer me nothing. So you're never, ever, ever going to see me make the first extension on this because we have built all of what we have with them fighting us the entire way. And programming is not, it's not rocket science, right? Find entertaining people, find people who are willing to be bold, and let them roll, baby. But find people who have an ounce of, level about them, have an ounce of fairness about them, who are willing to call both sides on. My gosh, CNN doesn't get any of that.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Listen up, Hoosier. This is Gunny speaking, and I'm here to tell you what Senator Todd Young is doing about the mess Biden's creating at the border. The Laken Riley Act ain't no walk in the park, soldier. It's a mission to secure our border. When illegals think they can just waltz in and wreak havoc, they got another thing coming. Senator Young's legislation is going to lock them down tighter than a drum. Young ain't just sitting around saluting. No, sir. He's stopping flow of fentanyl like it's enemy number one. Fighting the flow of fentanyl into Indiana from our southern border, and recognizing that it's causing Hoosier families to lose loved ones far too soon. Joe Biden is responsible for this crisis, and Todd is stopping him. It's time to build the wall, enforce tough immigration laws. Todd Young, a Marine fighting to protect Hoosiers. Hoorah! Paid for by Hoosier Honor Pack. Hoosier Honor Pack is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at HoosierHonor.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Coming up in 2 minutes, where a little boy was shot and killed overnight, plus the timeline of just how hot It's gonna get today. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Swinging the scales. I'm Therese Crowley, Fox News. Another former Democrat endorsing former President Donald Trump, this time former Hawaii Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard, a National Guard veteran who did 2 tours in the Middle East. She's also Trump's debate partner and stand-in for Kamala Harris, who's objecting to the debate 2 weeks away.
The same campaign leadership team that wrote these rules for Biden is now pushing to change them for Harris. This is how they frame it. Quote, the vice president is ready to deal with Trump's constant lies and interruptions in real time. Trump should stop hiding behind the mute button. But back in May, they called for muted mics for the benefit of the American voters. Harris still has not explained her border plan. On foreign policy, Democrats say she will break from Biden on key issues like Israel, but asked for specifics. They repeated Biden's lines. Even the plans that Harris has explained have been quietly redlined by her allies.
Monday, the campaigning Donald Trump told a National Guard convention in Detroit he will create a Space Force reserve. No campaign events for Kamala Harris yesterday or today, but she and running mate Tim Walz are making a major play for Georgia in the face of the RFK Jr. Trump endorsement in the swing states that could tip the balance toward Trump.
No state was closer 4 years ago than Georgia, and Vice President Kamala Harris is trying to keep a coalition that propelled the state for President Biden in hand this year. Her and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, kick off a bus tour of southern Georgia tomorrow, ending with a Thursday rally in Savannah. Democrats have long relied on rallying support in the metro Atlanta area for statewide success, but southern Georgia is home to cities with large black populations. Harris and Walz postponed a trip to the state earlier this month because of Tropical Storm Debbie. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A little boy caught up in a shooting. Radar is clear, 84 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. A 3-year-old boy was killed in a shooting overnight. He, along with a man who were found wounded in a parked car outside of a shopping center near 75th and Shadeland. The man was dead when police got there. The little boy died later on at Riley Hospital. No word on just exactly what led to the shooting. Why is it so hot? National Weather Service meteorologist Mike Ryan.
We have a large area of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Underneath that, you have sinking air, you have drier air, and that's helping to keep temperatures hot with not a lot of cloud cover.
He says that quantifies a heat dome. Temperatures will reach the triple digits in some places today, prompting excessive heat watches for much of the central part of the state from Terre Haute all the way over to Richmond. A power plant in Petersburg down in southern Indiana could go through a big change if AES Indiana gets its way. John Herrick.
As for what's already happened at the Petersburg generating station,
there at one point were a total of 4 coal units, and so we have retired units 1 and 2.
AES Indiana CEO Brandy Davis Handy tells Inside Indiana Business that they now want to invest $1.1 billion to convert units 3 and 4 from coal to natural gas. But that still needs approval from state regulators. If all goes according to plan, this plant would burn its last load of coal by 2026. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Null tried pleading guilty to using millions of dollars in public money on himself and his family yesterday, but the judge is not saying if he will accept the deal. The judge says that he wants to hear impact statements from victims of his crimes first before making a decision. Today is the deadline for the Indianapolis Colts to turn in their 53-man final roster to the NFL.
Obviously, these are tough decisions that are made throughout the process, and we got obviously some few more that we got to do that are going to be tough. But I want to thank those guys for all their hard work and effort.
Head coach Shane Steichen. The deadline is 4 o'clock. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Our goal is to provide patients with the strongest, most effective, and safest options in this exciting field of regenerative medicine.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
The idea that you can avoid a joint replacement is very exciting.
And that's from a surgeon who's done thousands of joint replacements, but who now believes there's a better way.
Regenerative medicine, as we understand it today, gives lasting pain relief, improved function, without surgery, without drugs.
Under Dr. Scheinkopf's leadership, QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients every day with the most advanced protocols in natural biologics. Literally tens of thousands of people all over America.
I've been doing research on regenerative medicine for 2 decades. This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
This hour on WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine custom jewelry.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, good morning. It is Tuesday, August 27th. It's 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. It is True Crime Tuesday. In just a bit, Amy from Cold Case Chronicles is going to join us. And you mentioned something yesterday. Is Phil Sanchez coming in?
That's right. Well, we're calling him.
Oh, okay. He's not going to be in studio.
The most beautiful man in all of Indianapolis media, Phil Sanchez. He's throwing out the first pitch at the Indians game tonight. And so Hammer and I were absolutely 100% not going to try to get in his head and completely ruin the experience for him.
You're not going to do that. No way.
Absolutely not. So we're going to... Now, have you ever... we talked about this yesterday. You've never been asked to throw out a first pitch at a ball game?
No, I have not. The dude has, and he did.
And he threw a strike.
Yeah, he did good.
Now,
he did good.
I have not either, and I don't ever see that happening because it's 50-50, wherever I go.
Yeah, we see you have to be likable like Phil Sanchez to be invited to things.
Right, and who wouldn't like Phil Sanchez? Until they get to know him.
Oh, well, we'll have that opportunity coming up when he joins us. Okay, let's talk about this new poll that came out. It says Americans under 35 would rather quit their job than work with people with different political views.
Wow.
This was a Harris poll. I feel like they need to rename that, by the way.
Well, okay, what was the statement again?
It says that Americans under 35 would rather quit their job than work with people with different political views.
That's crazy.
40% of employees age 18 to 34 say they'd quit over political differences with their coworkers and their CEO.
That's crazy.
Well, it does demonstrate that there's a big disregard for someone else's viewpoints or a lack of understanding, a lack of curiosity about how other people think.
Isn't that something, too, about sort of an indictment of where society is heading? And you see this play out a lot, like with younger people in terms of, and this is more extreme than just politics, but like with violence, right? It used to be when we were kids, you're a little older than me, I don't know how they did it in the 60s, but like in the 90s.
I don't either.
If you had a disagreement with somebody, you might settle it after school. Your friends might,
you might meet in the parking lot.
Right, and somebody's going to throw a few hands and somebody's going to connect and everybody's going to break it up. And then the next day, hey, everybody's kind of back on, if not the same, footing, at least we've settled that and we've moved on.
There's an understanding at least.
Now you would never, ever do that because somebody's going to bring a gun to that event and somebody's going to get shot, right? It's like people do not know how to settle differences. Here's a great example. Abdul was in here during one of our breaks and he started in on the property tax thing. And he started in on, well, they're not saying how they're going to deal with, Wonder Braun's plan, not lose police and fire. And Kev was here. Kev is a witness. Kev can vouch for this.
It got pretty heated.
He did the thing.
Really?
He said the thing where you know how I get sometimes, and I got that way. And I told him, I said, I am so, sick and tired of this bull, about that if you make it so that 80-year-olds can afford to stay in their home, that there aren't going to be police and fire. And then I started letting him have it about the $36.5 million basketball arena in Noblesville or the tennis courts in Westfield or the Bison in Carmel or all this stuff, right? And then I stopped and I said, but I still love you. And we hugged it out and went about our merry way and had a nice laugh. And Kev will vouch he was an eyewitness to the whole thing.
Yeah, and then you gave him a piece of a cookie.
I did.
As a peace offering.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that Hammer and Nigel cookie.
Yeah.
And I felt bad because I did get a little animated with the bill. But he knows when he comes in here and does that to me during the show, I'm going to do that to him.
Well, he knows that's a hot button for you, so he pushed your button.
But the point is, it's like Abdul and I disagree on all sorts of things when we're best of friends, right?
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous that you cannot work with, in a professional capacity, people that you have political disagreements with. Well, because why are you really talking about politics at work unless that is your job to talk about politics at work?
Right. And instead of entering the workforce with an open mind, you're completely determined just to surround yourself with people who are exactly like you,
right,
to affirm your beliefs. They said around 53% of people, employees under 35, say that their entire company and corporate leadership is specifically aligned with one single political party. And clearly, if it's not theirs, they out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we work with a company that owns many radio stations, and they own several radio stations in this market. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people that work in this building now who do not share our worldview. But I can still work with them. Why? Because why would I need to talk about politics with them? The interactions we have are on a professional level, and if you need something or there's something I can do for you or whatever, I mean, it's like some lady from B1057 had to come down to our floor the other day because she was having an issue with her technology. I have no idea what her politics are. She asked me if I could help her. I helped her. I wasn't like, hey, how are you feeling about Trump and Harris, right?
Right.
I mean, it's like, I
hey,
don't
well,
know.
I have you here for a second. Let me just ask you where you stand politically.
But that is kind of a ridiculous statement that you can't just, for the betterment of a paycheck and professionalism, just get along with people that you have political differences with, again, and why are you even talking about it unless you're in a business or a company or whatever like this where you talk about politics?
Well, it does show a lack of respect, not only for your environment, but your coworkers, but it also shows that how we're becoming more and more tribal and more programmed to be so passionate about our political views that there's no room for anything else.
Well, look, I mean, and I have all sorts of people that I get along fine with, especially in media, that drive some people on this radio station crazy, because my deal with people is I always treat people the way they've treated me. And there are some reporters, et cetera, that are just, they're pretty liberal, and it drives other hosts on this station insane that I'm friends with them. And my thing is like, they always quote me correctly and spell my name right in the stories, and they're nice to me. Like, I mean, I don't know. I got enough enemies at the State House that I don't need to be making, enemies. I have several liberal friends, but it's like, I know where you come from. You know where I come from. We have points of commonality on things that, we're not hanging out the Bellagio together or whatever, but I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it's like, it's a battle of ideas. You're going to have your view, I'm going to have mine, and then we're going to go on our merry way, right?
Agree to disagree. Well, it just shows that there's no group that is more satisfied to quit their job than workers who are under 35 who can't handle it over the political differences. And at that point, if you're that unhappy with your employment because maybe there's an American flag out front, go find where you're better suited, and a better cultural fit.
Do you think most of those people even know what they're mad about?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. That's like, the man on the street reporters who ask people standing outside protesting at the DNC,
right,
what are you fighting for? Oh, cause.
I've long wondered that about Trump. Like, what Trump policy enraged you to this point? Because he's been president. What thing, like, did the tax cut, is that really what enraged you?
Oh, were you really upset when the economy was rolling?
Right. I mean, I've always wondered, like, was cheaper gas?
That was a real bummer, wasn't it?
And I think my wife and I were having this conversation yesterday, and we were talking about, because my wife is very into the pro-life movement. She's very interested in that topic, and we were talking about some of these states that have, while Indiana's done a very good job, some of these other states have gone backwards in a post-Roe world. And one of the things that I told her is, I think, the pro-life movement got caught very flat-footed in a post-Roe world. Like, they were not prepared. Hey, what does this look like when this thing actually goes down? They could never actually envision what that would look like. And I said, it's one of the reasons, if you believe the reporting that came out when they were deciding the Roe decision, it's centered around an abortion case in Mississippi, or an abortion law in Mississippi, which would have changed essentially kind of the fetal viability standard from 20 weeks to 15 weeks. And so that was, Mississippi was trying to limit abortion from 20 weeks to 15 weeks. And John Roberts, if you believe the reporting, tried to caution his colleagues and say, while Roe may have been wrongly decided, if you do it all at one take, while legally you might be correct, and he obviously didn't use these exact words. I'm sure it was far more distinguished and smarter than I'm saying it here, but he was saying, while legally you may be correct, and morally perhaps it is the right thing to do, society is not ready for this big of a jump yet, and if your goal is to enhance life, this is going to be an immense hindrance to the life cause because it's too broad of a jump for so many people. So Roberts had said, let's just decide this Mississippi case. Mm-hmm. Let's decide it on the merits. And then if you want to, somebody else wants to come back for another bite at the apple, right? Let's do it. And Alito and the rest of them didn't want to do it. And so if you remember, the case was decided 5-4. Roberts sided, actually there were two rulings in it. Roberts sided with Mississippi, and then he ruled against Roe v. Wade. And in hindsight, the incrementalism and more moderate approach of Roberts in terms of the life movement itself probably would have been the better approach, because now you have states that are less pro-life, mm-hmm. like Ohio and Kansas, because the pro-life movement was not prepared on how, when we opened the floodgates on how to do this, because they have these ballot referendums. My point on all of this is we have lost the ability for incrementalism, I think, in our society.
It's all or nothing.
Yeah, I went a very long way around mm-hmm. to say we are desensitizing people to incremental victories and incremental success. Some people are mad at me about endorsing Mike Braun. It's not an all-in on Braun's the greatest guy ever, and I think he's going to be this phenomenal, amazing governor.
Yeah.
It's incrementally, if I use the same thinking that Roberts had on the Roe versus Wade decision, we're not ready yet right this second to totally throw property taxes out. It should happen, but there's not the votes to do that yet, and we're not there yet. There has to be a step in between. And Braun presents the logical step in between, which is a big reform to the system itself to get people ready for that. And it's an incremental step. And so my point on this, with these people not being able to work with people who have different political differences, we have so ginned up, we've so enraged people, we've so desensitized them to immense instant hate and anger.
Mm-hmm. They're not even open to hearing.
Right. They simply can't work together, and they can't try to persuade people. Like, I would look at it as a challenge. Like, I'm going to win that person.
Yeah.
Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Nobody loves to argue more than you.
Right.
Well, this poll, it was done by Indeed, by the way, the job search company, and they said that people 35 and under would rather quit their job than work with people with different political views. Another thing it shows is that there are so many people they would rather quit their job than be open to a respectful coexistence.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It just shows how divisive we've become, like you were saying.
All right, True Crime Tuesday. This is going to be fascinating.
Molly Datillo.
Yeah, so Amy from the Cold Case Chronicles. It's a fabulous organization. They got podcasts. They put together stuff for investigation discovery. Amy is going to be with us from Cold Case Chronicles about the Molly Datillo case. She is a college student who disappeared from Indianapolis. She was here from Kentucky, going to school at IUPUI, disappeared in 2004, has never been found. Though declared legally dead.
Yeah.
And so she's going to remind us of everything that happened in this infamous case from 2004.
It's up next on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Kamala Harris is there right now. She's the de facto president because, let's be honest, President Applesauce Brains isn't calling the shots. It's her and the Obamas. And they're talking about how we need to have hope in this country. Donald Trump has not been the president for nearly 4 years now. And 12 of the last 16 years has been Democrat leadership. So why do we need hope? This is your doing. It's ridiculous.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
I'm John Morgan. When you call Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, your very own army springs into action. immediately, 24/7. Our investigators, legal staff, and over 900 lawyers work together to fight to get you the best result as quickly and easily as possible. Insurance companies know who we are, and now you know it too. This firm was built for greatness. This firm was built for you. Injured? Call your Army. We're ready to roll. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WIBC.
Casey, it's that time.
Yes, it is True Crime Tuesday, Rob.
Yeah, every Tuesday, 10:15, we take a look at a true crime case that has fascinated the imagination. And this week, we are going to go back to the year 2004. Took place right here in central Indiana. Molly Datillo, who was a student at IUPUI, was here from Kentucky. She went missing, and it is a long and sordid affair. And with us to help sort through everything that happened, Amy from the Cold Case Chronicles joins us now. Amy from the Cold Case Chronicles joins us now. They actually did a documentary on Molly Datillo for Investigation Discovery. Amy, tell us about Molly Datillo.
Yeah, so Molly Datillo, she's from Madison, Indiana. She was 22 years old, and like you said, she was from Eastern Kentucky University, but taking a couple classes that summer at IUPUI. She lived with her brother at Westlake Apartments in 2004, just while she was taking those classes. And she was very active, a runner. She was singing. She actually was going to try out for American Idol that summer. They were coming for tryouts. American Idol was like super big during that time. So she was very active, never met a stranger. So that day on July 6th in 2004, she ran errands just like normal. And 7 p.m., she dropped off an application at Wendy's restaurant, which was right around the corner from their apartment. Once she returned to the apartment, she ran an errand. Okay, scratch that. Let me back that up. Once she returned to the apartment, she ran into a friend, and she was introduced to a guy whose brother worked there at Westlake. So they went out on a boat ride. And when I say boat ride, I use that loosely. It was like the retention ponds around the apartment. So it wasn't like a super speed boat ride, but it was like a paddle boat type boat. So it was just something small. And then they left and went to Taco Bell. And we know that for sure. Then around 11 p.m., Molly made a phone call. And this phone call came from a Thornton's gas station, which was on the other side of the apartment. So she went from one area of town to the kind of other area, not on like a long way, but just know that they had to go past the apartments again. And that phone call was to a friend that she was going to be staying with that evening. But we don't know what she was going to say because the call was dropped.
Amy from the Cold Case Chronicles podcast is our guest today. We are revisiting the infamous case of Molly Datillo, who went missing. An IUPUI student here from Kentucky went missing in July of 2004. So did the police have any leads? How did this investigation initially play out? Because obviously it took a long time to get to the eventual where she was declared legally dead.
Right. So according to John, the guy that she was with, he says he dropped her back off at Westlake, but the police didn't take it seriously at first because, she's an adult. And back then in 2004, they said adults can go missing, as they still do. Sometimes police still think that. But the thing is, Molly left behind her car. She left her phone, her money, her ID, even her debit card, and it had a substantial large amount of money in the bank. So she was not touching any of that. And that's not something that you do if you're leaving. So the police actually took a month before they even began looking into her disappearance as if she might have actually been missing.
Well, it seems like they didn't take it seriously. Her brother didn't immediately report her as missing either. And then when he did, police weren't really taking it very seriously, thinking maybe she just left on her own accord.
Right. Well, her brother reported her missing 2 days later because she was supposed to be staying with a friend that night. And so he wasn't really concerned about that. So it's not that he didn't report her missing. She was, wasn't supposed to be coming home. So it was 2 days later when he reported her. But the police didn't look for her for like almost 30 days. And that was the constant pushing of her family. So once they started looking into it, they had a hard time finding witnesses because you're looking for people 30 days later and you're looking at apartment people who like come and go. You have tenants that the turnover is unbelievable, right? So you have apartment tenants that have come and gone. And I mean, even asking me, hey, do you remember seeing someone at a gas station 30 days ago?
Right. Mm-hmm. Amy from the Cold Case Chronicles podcast is our guest, talking about the infamous case of Molly Datillo, who went missing here in Indianapolis in 2004, a student at IUPUI from Kentucky. All right, so Amy, was there ever a working theory? Obviously, many, many years later, she would be declared legally dead. But was there ever a working theory, or do you guys over at the Cold Case Chronicles podcast, because you put together a big expose for investigation discovery on this, is there a working theory on what might have happened to her?
Well, of course, the theory always goes back to who she was with last, and she was with John Shelton last. Well, he wasn't talking, and most criminals don't talk to police. That's just not their go-to. So everyone says he was the one that did something to her. And if you're the last person that was seen with someone and you don't want to talk to police, then that makes you look very guilty. And right now, he's serving time in prison for an unrelated charge and won't be released until 2038.
Yeah. So fast forward to 2017, I believe it was. Well, now in 2010, the family got a judgment against Shelton and his dad, right? Claiming that they were involved in the disappearance.
Yes. In November 2010, the family sued Shelton and his father, trying to get information. They weren't trying to get money. They just wanted to get information because the case had stalled. And unfortunately, neither Shelton or his father showed up for court. Mm-hmm. Shelton was incarcerated and his father was just MIA. And since they didn't show up, they were awarded a default judgment of over $3 million. But that's not what they wanted. They wanted information. And unfortunately, that's not what they got.
And then in 2017, Molly Datillo was declared legally dead, correct?
She's been declared legally dead. And now that it's been 20 years since her case, since she has been missing, they're finally looking at turning her case over to the cold case unit. And that's fantastic because that'll give a new set of eyes to the case, and hopefully a new set of eyes will find something that has been missed all along.
Does that mean they just start over from scratch when that happens?
Yes, when it goes to a cold case unit, they like to just start from scratch. They don't want, anything influencing them, and that way they can just get a new set of eyes on it, start from the witnesses, start everything over so that they can just kind of fine-tooth comb it and try and find something that everyone else missed.
20 years seems like a long time to have to wait for something to go to a cold case. I mean, if nobody's moved for a couple of years, Amy, to me, it would seem like, okay, it's cold now. That just seems like a long time.
That's exactly it. And 20 years, it doesn't take 20 years to go to cold case, but that's just what they've done. The family's been pushing for it to go to cold case for a long time. But because they haven't found her body, then it's been really hard for the family to get them to push it on to cold case because they've been saying, well, she's not legally, they haven't found a body. So it's been really hard for them to get them to push it to cold case. And when all along it should have been in cold case hands. Someone needs to be looking at this consistently.
All right, Amy, before we let you go, tell us about the very fabulous Cold Case Chronicles podcast and the rest of the great work you guys do.
Absolutely. You know, we're not actively doing the podcast anymore, but we are actively looking at all the cases that we do, and we still run the podcast. And so if anyone has any tips on any of the cases that we have done, bring them in. If you have tips on Molly's case, contact Nicole Booking at IMPD Missing Person Unit. Or if you don't like the police, that's fine too. Just send us any kind of information you have, and we'll pass it along.
ColdCaseChronicles.com is the website. Amy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They've got one. It's 84 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Israel says its forces have rescued a hostage held by Hamas. The rescue happened as part of what experts described as a complex operation in southern Gaza. Hamas is believed to still be holding more than 100 hostages who were taken during the October 7th attacks on Israel. A former Democrat is getting behind former President Trump this election.
Tulsi Gabbard, she had the sharpest lines of attack against then Senator Harris on the debate stages in 2020. She is now helping Donald Trump prepare for his debate with Harris behind the scenes, and she is officially joining his effort to beat her. The Harris campaign is showing their hand in terms of priorities, visiting just one battleground state this week, but for 2 days, Georgia. Trump has Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania ahead before the weekend.
Fox's Peter Ducey. For the first time in 15 years, the British rock band Oasis is reuniting after breaking up in 2009. The band is led by brothers Liam and Noel Gallagher, whose well-publicized feud has kept them apart. Oasis is now signed to play 14 shows in the UK and Ireland next year. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Shh. The silence you just heard? You could have used that space to reach your customers. Get your message in front of your customers. Text BUSINESS to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
It's not too late to get the backyard of your dreams this year. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author, executive producer, and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money's never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie at 800-486-9595. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you can get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 1-800-486-9595. That's 1-800-486-9595. Again, that's 1-800-486-9595.
Is your pet a digging enthusiast, an escape artist, or a counter surfer? Invisible Fence brand has you covered. For the wannabe landscaper, we've got a solution to keep them active but not destructive. For the escape artist, our personalized pet fences keep them safe and sound at home. Counter surfer? No problem. We know how to keep cheese thieves at bay. Invisible Fence brand. Tailor-made solutions for your pet, your yard, and your needs. Visit invisiblefence.com today.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Save hundreds, even thousands off the sale price on all in-stock Berlin Gardens and Polywood outdoor furniture. All dining sets, all sofas, sectionals, Adirondack chairs, umbrellas, everything must go. Plus, large Big Green Egg demos are $7.95. Hurry in to Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
As our loved ones age, ensuring their safety at home becomes a top priority. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joyce House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. I'll be right back with some practical things you can do to reduce the possibility of a fall or injury.
At Cardon Senior Living
Radio.org. With new weekly content created by Joyce House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Pierce Jewelers is the best family-owned jewelry store in Carmel. All jewelry and watch repair, appraisals, and custom design are done in-house. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Questions, comments, smart remarks, whatever's on your mind, something we've been talking about or just something you would like to introduce. That is the point of the voicemails. 317-684-8444. That's the phone number if you'd like to get involved. And we discussed how the U.S. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said that he's launching the 2024 Back to School Bus Tour. And although this is not a campaign event, it will be taking place in some swing states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, with a couple of stops along the way in Indiana and Illinois. That's going to take place September 3rd through the 6th. And somebody wanted to start off the phone call talking about that.
Didn't hear much, but I heard you guys talking about some educational caravan thing coming through. What a joke. And again, master the obvious stuff here. Do you remember when Randy Weingarten went to the Ukraine to get her part of the payoff of all the grifting going on over there? I mean, the whole thing is a grift to go back into the Democrat coffers to help them pay for stealing Dominion and all of them. I mean, it all goes back to the election steal, 2024, 2022, 2020. And now how many of these departments of the Trump's right. We need to just eliminate about 5 departments and put about, a couple thousand government employees on the dole and get these people out. I mean, that would be one of the most significant things Trump could do.
So isn't that what he said that he wanted to tap Elon Musk to do, is trim the fat?
But why didn't Trump do it the last time? These are the questions I just keep asking. If it hasn't gotten any worse, right? I mean, it's the same as it was before.
Hey, good morning, Rob. Multi-millions of dollars here. You'll have to check, see what the exact figure is. But with this subsidizing Lilly with our excessive taxes here, in other words, the overage they have in the tax in the state of Indiana, and what's going on up north of here on the building of the plant and the water situation, as taxpayers, we want to know something. If Lilly can be so benevolent in this case, why, with our taxes and the excess money that the state has, do we have to be benevolent to them?
Okay, so what I'm finding is that it was a National Park Foundation receiving a grant from the Lilly Endowment for $100 million for that.
Well, and Lilly can spend their money however they see fit. My beef with Lilly is not that they're spending their money however they see fit. My beef with Lilly is they're using the power of the state government to better their position. They're using the power of the state government to facilitate real estate deals that, like, you're talking about this. Okay, $100 million for this thing, whatever it was, fine, whatever. But you don't have enough money to do a real estate deal on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that isn't logic. You're a company that's worth over $900 billion. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever that you couldn't do these things on your own. They're using the full throttle power of the government to be able to move resources, create, when it comes to water or infrastructure environments that are in their favor. Like that's where I get sideways with Lilly. I don't care. Donate your money. I'm sure they do a lot of very nice things, help a lot of people that are in need. That's great. That's wonderful. But don't ask me to facilitate a company worth $900 billion getting richer.
So the $100 million that Lilly is contributing is only one part of it. It's a $1 billion fundraising campaign on behalf of the national parks across the country. Here's another phone call. This is about a pizza joint.
Hey, Casey. I know your husband collects not collects, but deals in Sports Illustrated.
No, he collects.
You and him need to go to Greenfield and go to Mozzie's Pizza on U40. And they have been collecting Sports Illustrateds for, 40 years at least. And the wall is covered with old and their first editions, their originals. And they got uniforms, basketball shoes. It's really quite an experience. I think you and your husband would enjoy it. Have a good day.
This is something I should send him on his own.
Well,
I go for the pizza. He goes for the decor.
let's be very specific here. Casey's husband is a freaking genius because he collects Sports Illustrateds, but he does it under the guise of selling Sports Illustrateds.
Right.
And he'll hang on to some things for a very long time.
Yeah.
With the logical, and this is logical, and get away with this explanation, it'll be worth more in the future. This is a hold piece.
Yeah.
And then he can just keep it.
Some he keeps.
Yeah.
Like the reservation.
Yeah.
Others he'll sell.
I'm not going to use the word scheme, but it's a brilliant little operation he's got going on over there.
Oh, it's not a little operation, Rob. Let's be honest. It takes up an entire spare bedroom, bathroom, and closet.
All right, Phil Sanchez is trying to big time us. He's like demanding to know when we're going to call him.
Oh, is he calling right now?
No,
he's like, I'm on the line.
He literally sent me a thing. It's like, I told him we'll call you at 10:45. Have I been bumped? Dude, it's 10:43. We got to call Phil Sanchez about throwing out the pitch at the game.
All right, that's coming up next on 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnett, the FBI says supporting the Second Amendment is now extremist behavior, while Kamala Harris and Tim Walz continue to feign deafness whenever asked about it. Oh boy. Tune in right here at 7 p.m., the live streams on the Daily Signals, Facebook, X, and YouTube, and the podcast anytime.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life, and that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary.
Truck drivers, it's time to drive for a company that values your time. At Midwest Logistics Systems, you'll get home every day and have a predictable Monday through Friday schedule with occasional Saturdays. Plus, you'll enjoy the convenience of driving out and back routes and hauling no-touch, mostly drop-and-hook freight. MLS drivers also earn performance and safety bonuses and have access to a comprehensive benefits package. Explore our selection of local dedicated driving jobs and apply today at MidwestLogisticsSystems.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy,
but it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Join Tony Katz this Saturday from 2 till 6 at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, featuring Fingers Malloy from Eat, Drink, Smoke, Guy Relford the Gun Guy, food, drinks, plus live and silent auctions benefiting the VFW Department of Indiana.
Well, there he is, joining the number one rated Kendall and Casey show. It is Jason Hammer from the number one rated Hammer and Nigel program.
All we do is win around here, baby. It's all we do. Store.hammerandnigel.com.
All right, so we have a special guest today. But before we bring him on, can we talk about just the world this guy lives in? So Phil Sanchez is throwing out the first pitch tonight at the Indians game. We said, hey, Phil, let's have you on. We'd like to promote. We'd like to try to just ruin your day and get in your head so that you can't even get it to home plate. And I don't know. We said like 10:40, 10:45-ish. 10:43, we get a text from Phil. Have I been bumped?
Right. So sorry, Ron Burgundy. We're taking up busy, valuable time in your day. Good Lord, Donald Trump is standing by, apparently. Do we have the Sanchez, Kev? Is the Sanchez ready?
Hello, Phil.
I'm here, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. No, you've not been bumped, Ron Burgundy.
Listen, I'm a very busy man, okay? I got a lot going on. Part of the reason why I'm not in studio, because I love coming in and seeing your beautiful faces, of course. And when I say that, I mean Casey, of course.
Back at you.
Obviously. But, I have a lot going on. I have a list of things I need to do that my wife makes me do every single day before I go to work, obviously. And I don't want to get Mrs. Sanchez mad at me.
Right.
So I have a lot of things I need to. Plus, I need to prepare for this pitch tonight. So I got to go do leg day, baby. I got to get in shape. I got to get ready to go.
Now, hold on. Hold on.
Leg day.
If I understand this correctly, Phil, you used to be kind of a big deal at high school baseball in New York. And I know this because the same way Nigel talks about his midlife crisis of, being a X103 DJ about 30 years ago, you post this photo of you at Yankee Stadium in like the city-county all-star game seemingly every 14 hours. So why does a man with that type of baseball background, whose son is a good ball player, need this much time to prepare?
Because I'm going to be 45 in 2 weeks. That's funny that you say that because about a month ago, I was like, don't even worry. But now you idiots start talking to me and getting in my head, and everybody else I know is like, don't hit at the mascot and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm going to have the yips. And I can't have the yips.
I picture Phil going out there like George Bush after 9/11 tonight. He gives everybody the big thumbs up. He's, because like 9 people are paying attention to the first pitch at the Indians game, but this is gonna be his moment in the sun. Now, what have you posted a video? You have actually been practicing.
I mean, yes and no. I was throwing batting practice to Shay, my son, and I said, let's do a little social media thing, and I'll work up the mound. What's funny is that I haven't pitched. I started thinking I literally haven't pitched in a game. I stopped pitching when I was 12 years old, and I played middle infield my entire life. The form and throwing off a mound totally different than throwing it from shortstop to first base. So I just don't want to embarrass myself.
Are you going to roll out there in a full Indians uniform with the stirrups and everything? I mean, I could just see you doing that tonight.
That would be awesome, but it's going to be 100 degrees. So
what are you doing to prepare for the heat?
That's a good question.
It's one pitch. What do you mean? What is he doing to prepare, Casey?
He's got leg
one
day.
Pitch. Do you think Phil Sanchez, the most in-shape man in the city, is going to be gassed for walking to the mound?
No, I'm wondering, makeup-wise, is he going to use a special makeup so it doesn't turn orange in the heat?
I'm going sans makeup tonight, Casey, for at least the early part of the day. Yeah. Now later on, when I go back to the studio, I'm going to I have to makeup it up. I'm going to be glistening from the heat, so I'm going to have to, make myself look good for the 10 o'clock news tonight.
Is there any extra pressure knowing that I absolutely threw a laser beam on my ceremonial first pitch with the Indianapolis Indians? It's on YouTube forever. A lot of people confused me with Paul Skeens when I walked out to the mound, Phil.
That's actually what they said to me too. Shane, the PR guy over at the Indianapolis Indians, he said, Jason Hammer threw a strike. Pressure is on. No, you ever see that meme that I love to throw it out there? The "I don't believe you" meme from Ron Burgundy. That just goes through my head when I see that video. I don't believe it. I think it's fake.
Phil Sanchez is our guest. He'll be throwing the first pitch out tonight at the Indians game. Tickets still available. And if you go, please just heckle the heck out of Phil. Make his life as hard as humanly possible.
Be Randy Quaid in Major League 2. Just boo as soon as he walks out on the field.
You are something else. You know that? I didn't know you were going to be in studio today when I did this.
Well, I didn't think you'd be complaining about being bumped either, Phil, but here we are.
Hey, Phil, was your wife a college cheerleader?
She was. She cheered at ISU, yeah.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, does she have any hot take on this Purdue giving Indiana State 33.5 points for college football this weekend?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good question. I would ask her. She's at work right now. I would totally ask her that. No, but I will. I'll circle back with you on that one. I'll ask her. I'll tell you what, she has a lot of hot takes. You guys should have her on the show.
I love that.
Yeah,
follow her on social media. She has a lot of hot takes. You guys would love her. So,
the Sanchez's need to have their own reality show.
Yeah,
they really do.
Like
that. Phil, his family. We're a couple years away, I think, from Phil going full Todd Marinovich's dad with his son. Because your son's a really good baseball player. And I know how competitive Phil is. I think we're just a few years away from that Todd Marinovich story.
Now, when you go to these, because your son plays the travel baseball, and he play up, he plays advanced to his age. Do you sit in the stands with the other parents? Do you hang out in the outfield by yourself?
Got velvet stands.
What do you do?
This is going to be the first year where I'm not going to be coaching. So I'm stepping away from that, and I'm just kind of giving him to this team and just letting them do. So I'll be in the stands with the parents. You ever see Mark Paul, the guy who does all those travel baseball videos?
Yeah.
And that's going to be my goal, I think, this year. I'm going to try to do a whole social media thing out of it and try not to embarrass myself because we're with different teams. So I got to be on my best behavior. So
you don't want to be Randy Marsh in South Park getting thrown out of the ball game in your underpants, yelling, "I'm sorry, I thought this was America."
No. Have you seen? There are a lot of videos of. I mean, that's just embarrassing. It all lives on the internet
Phil,
forever. I don't want to be that guy.
I have seen it all. I mean, my son is now aged out of baseball. He's at UND. He's bowling now. But I did the travel circuit for a long time coaching. The things you see and the things you will see throughout the next 10 years of your son playing, you'll lose faith in humanity.
Oh, I know. I've seen some of it already. As a coach, I got thrown out of a game last year, and all I was doing, this is totally off topic, but the umpire threw one of our parents out, so I went out there to question. He was already hot. He's already getting a lot of from both sides, so I went out there just to question what was going on. He said, "You can go too." So I was like, "Oh, okay, here we go." Sorry.
Can you imagine you go to some youth sports game and, hey, that's local newsman Phil Sanchez
getting kicked out.
He's getting kicked out of the ball
He's
game.
going full Earl Weaver here right now.
I think that's what the umpire said later on. I think we kind of we hashed it out. And he's like, "I realized I threw the news guy out."
So,
I was like, "Dude, I was just asking what happened." He was like, "I know." He's like, "I was there, under the gun and blah blah blah." But it was all good. But it was pretty funny looking back.
So, Phil, Howard Kellman still does the Indians games on the radio, I think. And every so often he gets to go up to the big leagues and do like Yankees games. He's a big Yankees fan. I think next time Howard takes a break, you, me, and Hammer should do a little three-man booth on on one of those Indians broadcasts.
That would be fantastic. That would be awesome. I will bring that up to Shane tonight when I see him, the PR guy over there, and throw it by him. Let's do it.
I love that. Hammer
I'm all
gets
for it, man. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, you'll be the straight guy. Hammer will get super liquored up, and I'll talk politics the whole time. It'll be perfect.
Oh, that'll be great. Yeah.
It'll last 30 seconds.
We'll have one listener by the end of the show, by the end of the game.
Hell, that was the old Cubs broadcast when I was growing up, right? Steve Stone's got to hold it down while Harry's drinking about 7 Budweisers, talking about chicks in the stands.
So you know what? After the past couple of weeks of putting this stuff out there about tonight, I got one message from a guy that I grew up with back in New York that I played baseball with since I was about 7 years old.
We baseball?
Came up. Yeah.
Nigel worked at X103.
played baseball. So he texts me. He goes, "Listen, don't embarrass us. You represent all of us."
Oh,
pressure.
No pressure.
So the pressure, baby. The pressure is on.
So in all seriousness, everybody should totally go tonight if you can. Don't heckle Phil. Cheer for Phil.
Phil's one of the good guys.
Yeah, Phil is a great guy. And my goodness, Phil, how you've maintained your youthful beauty all these years. I would just love to know what it is, because I'm falling apart over here. But you're an age in reverse person. It's just amazing.
Listen, I think I've said it to you guys before on the show before. Half Puerto Rican, half Italian, baby. Good genes, you know. I don't know. I really don't know. It'll eventually happen, but holding on as long as I can.
40-year-old Phil Sanchez could wake up after a tequila bender in the morning and still look better than Rob and I have ever looked in our entire lives.
My wife all the time is like, he has great eyebrows.
Well, those now I will say this. Listen, those take a lot of work, okay? And I've been very open as to now that and it's for the viewers' sake, okay? Because nobody wants to see a guy on the news with one eyebrow. Because if I didn't have any work done to those bad boys, they would be just one straight across the head, Anthony Davis style.
Phil Sanchez, you are the best. Good luck tonight, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Yep. All right.
See ya.
Hey, I want to give you time to talk about what do you got coming up on your show today.
Caller Roulette is later today. Biggest stories in Indy, and our latest podcast.
That's right. I wanted to talk about that.
Drops this afternoon.
That's right.
We'll let you know on the Hammer and Nigel show when it's live. If it's done before then, bada bing, bada boom. Let's get to 300 downloads this week. Let's grow it each week.
Yeah, it's week 1 of college football, and you got all the big games. You got Clemson and Georgia. You got Notre Dame and Texas A&M. You gonna come over to my house and leave at halftime again after Notre Dame's winning?
No, that only happens when they play Ohio State.
You got,
USC and LSU.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a
Miami and Florida.
There's
some good
so
games.
many games to get into. The Degenerates Next Door podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and we got a new segment. A long shot. It's called Let's Get Nuts.
Let's Get Nuts.
Yeah,
We've got
nuts.
that, the Degenerate special, and it's free.
That's right.
Free picks, and it drops this afternoon.
Thanks, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or more of term life insurance for a couple of $100 a month. Look, you need to know there's a price war in the term life insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call Bob, and he'll shop and see how much money he can save you. Look, this could be the last term life insurance policy you ever have. Your rates are guaranteed for the next 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rates for the next 20 years. And if you're a smoker or your health is not perfect, Bob has great rates for you too. So for $1 million of term life insurance coverage for a couple of $100 a month, call Bob right now. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. 800-890-5075. That's 800-890-5075. Paid for by Term Direct.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's not too late to get the backyard of your dreams this year. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a shooting leads to a man and a young boy dead overnight, plus excessive heat throughout Indiana. Just how hot you can expect it to get over the next few days. And the beef that IU professors have with a new Indiana state law. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
A hostage is home.
I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A 52-year-old Israeli hostage is rescued in Gaza after nearly 11 months in captivity. Fox's Jonathan Savage reports.
Qaid Farhan al-Qadi was kidnapped by Hamas along with scores of others on October 7th last year. The 52-year-old is now back with his family after being rescued by the Israeli military. We're told it was a complex operation in the southern Gaza Strip. Al-Qadi is a member of Israel's Arab Bedouin minority and had been working at a kibbutz that was attacked by Hamas. He's now recovering from his ordeal in the hospital. Local TV showed family members sprinting down the hallways for a long-awaited reunion. Hamas is still holding over 100 hostages, a third of whom are believed to be already dead. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
President Biden and former President Trump were scheduled to hold their second debate just 2 weeks from tonight, but the first debate in June went so badly for the president, the Democrats fear about him losing the election grew to where he just dropped out of the race. Now, Trump and Vice President Harris have kept the date, and they agreed to host ABC, but they're squabbling over the rules, and the former president says the network is biased.
The standoff involves mics. It was President Biden's team who proposed muting mics when a candidate isn't speaking for the debate back in June. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign wants to reverse that rule. Former President Trump's campaign says it's Harris who can't stay on message. Trump, though, is floating the possibility of not showing up to the ABC debate on September 10th at all, as he criticizes the host network. Harris and her running mate Tim Walz will kick off a bus tour in Georgia tomorrow. Trump is heading to Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania later this week.
That's Fox's Madeline Rivera. The chief of Ukraine's army says troops have gained control of nearly 500 square miles of Russia's Kursk region since breaking through the border 3 weeks ago. Also saying Ukraine's captured 594 Russian prisoners. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A man and a toddler dead. It's sunny and 84 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. They were killed in a shooting on the northeast side overnight. It was at a shopping center at around 9:30 Monday evening along Shayland near 75th Street. Both were found shot in a car. The little boy was just 3 years old. Heat advisories are out for pretty much all of Indiana today. Temps will be hitting their peak soon.
12 p.m. to about 6 p.m. where the heat indices are going to have the potential to be at their highest, near and above 100 degrees, and in some cases 105 to 110 degrees.
Mike Ryan with the National Weather Service. He says storms will likely move in at some time tomorrow. A man was killed in a crash Monday afternoon near Spiceland. John Herrick reports.
State police say the crash happened just after noon on State Road 3, just south of a county road, when Michael Conlon of Greensburg went off the road and hit a tree head-on. He was in a black 2010 Ford Focus. Conlon was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say he was going too fast and not wearing a seatbelt. Conlon was 19 years old. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
College students have begun their fall semesters on Indiana's college campuses, and now under the state's new intellectual diversity law, some faculty at IU say the law does exactly the opposite of its intent.
If we are consistently being asked to entertain all viewpoints, does that mean that we allow Holocaust deniers to express their viewpoints in our classrooms? Does that mean that we have to bring in debunked scholarship?
At a small rally Monday, she was one of many faculty demanding protections from the school when it comes to complaints about DEI education from students. IU must be consistent to win football games, says head coach Kurt Signetti. IU kicks off their season against FIU on Saturday.
My focus right now is on preparing these guys and help them be as successful as possible Saturday and feel good about the pieces we have in place.
Tune into every game this football season over on our sister station, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hi, my name is Paige Strodbeck, and I'm a member of Tabernacle Presbyterian Church. TAB is a place where sound biblical teaching is the foundation for who we are and everything we do. Church at TAB isn't just for Sunday. It happens every day of the week through ministries that serve those inside and outside the church. From the pastor's Bible study to our chef-led cafe offering hot meals to organized youth sports, TAB is focused on living out the gospel of Jesus Christ. If you're looking for a church that combines faithful preaching with urban outreach, you've come to the right place. I'm Paige Strodbeck, and I invite you to come see for yourself.
Tabernacle Presbyterian Church, 34th Street and Central Avenue in Indianapolis, invites you to worship Sunday morning at 8 or 10 a.m. If you can't make it in person, tune in to Sunday with Tab, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WIBC, or find us online at tabpres.org.
This hour on WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 5 minutes after 11. That's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and let's talk about what Mark Zuckerberg did yesterday. He threw the Biden-Harris administration right under the bus, saying that he regrets working with them to censor Americans on his platform.
Oh, bull.
You don't think he regrets it?
No, I think the tide has turned, and I think this guy is in self-preservation mode. Clearly, he doesn't regret it. I mean, think about all the crap this guy's pulled. Let's go back to 2020, right? Let's go back to the Hunter Biden laptop, which everybody knew was real. You had testimony from Hunter Biden's business partner validating the laptop. The stuff in it was clearly Hunter Biden. It lined up with things Hunter Biden was alleged to have done. I mean, like it was just they had emails, they had text messages. I mean, it was clearly real, and they shut it down. And you later heard from testimony from these people, they shut it down under pressure from the federal government, and they knew exactly what they were doing.
So he promised not to make any financial contributions during this election cycle. It's like he's trying to stay out of it. So a couple reasons why he came out now to do this. Is there a whistleblower coming forward, perhaps? Is he done with the Democrat Party? Or like you're saying, no, he just wants eyeballs on his social media outlets.
Well, he's hedging his bets. It's the equivalent of giving to both sides, which these people do. You'll see people give to both political parties because he knows if he doesn't do something and Trump wins, Trump's going to come for him. And he doesn't, he's a business guy. All these tech companies, whatever, they're huffing and puffing, their citizen engagement, free speech, what no, they're businesses. They exist to make money. And he knows that if Trump gets in there and he doesn't do something to hedge his bets right now, that he is going to be in big trouble, and that's all this is about. That guy is a colossal fraudster. I wouldn't believe a word that comes out of his mouth because every reasonable person, every person with a firing synapse in their brain knew that laptop was real, and he did everything he could to make sure it never saw the light of day.
Yeah, he did say when he was on the Joe Rogan Experience that the FBI put pressure on Meta to censor the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's also bull. There's nothing the FBI could have done to him. Not like they could put him in prison for sharing it. He did it because he wanted to do it, and he's using the FBI as a scapegoat now.
Here he is talking about it.
We took a different path than Twitter. I mean, basically, the background here is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team, and was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. So just be vigilant. So our protocol is different from Twitter's. What Twitter did is they said you can't share this at all. We didn't do that. What we do is we have, if something is reported to us as potentially misinformation, important misinformation, we also have this third-party fact-checking program because we don't want to be deciding what's true and false. And for I think it was 5 or 7 days when it was basically being determined whether it was false, the distribution on Facebook was decreased, but people were still allowed to share it. So you could still share it, you could still consume it.
So when you say the distribution is decreased,
it got shared.
How does that work?
It basically, the ranking in newsfeed was a little bit less.
Yeah. Okay. The theme of this segment is "Oh Bull." People do this all the time. Hammer talks about this on his segment a whole bunch. You can't see their stuff. It doesn't matter if you can share it if no one can see it. What difference does it make? They clearly prevented people from seeing the thing even though it was obvious that it was real. There was testimony from people who were affiliated with Hunter Biden in terms of doing business with Hunter Biden who said, oh, yeah, that's real. That stuff's real. Those emails were sent. That's clearly him. Everybody knew it was him. And by the way, it wasn't Russian disinformation. It was he got coked out of his mind and took his computer somewhere and doesn't remember doing it. It's like, period. That's it. That's where we're at.
So he even said in that clip, I think basically they came to us. Like, he doesn't even know. He's in charge of the company, right?
He's so full of crap, Casey. These guys just lie and they lie and they lie. And that's what 2020 was. This is why. I mean, this feeds the narrative that the election was stolen. Like, when I talk about the election being stolen, this is the stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about the stuff that can be proven. Like the fact that you have no idea who voted in Pennsylvania. You have no idea. Nobody has any idea who voted in Pennsylvania. I'm not talking about voting machines or whatever. I'm talking about just verifiable, indisputable stuff. This is how you steal an election. When social media platforms have this very important event happen, and it would influence how people think, and they just say, no, you can't do that. That's stealing an election. That's altering an election. That's manipulating an election. When in Pennsylvania, you have no idea who gets ballots. You have no idea who sends them back. And then 3, 4, 5 days later, you're still counting ballots. That's how you steal an election.
So he sent a letter to Jim Jordan, and he said that Meta has changed their policies and processes to make sure it doesn't happen again. We no longer temporarily demote things in the U.S. while we're waiting on fact checkers. They're just going to let it fly. But he also said that he believes the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. He regrets it now. He didn't regret it then while it was happening.
Casey, what's the theme of this segment?
Oh, bull.
Oh, bull. He doesn't regret anything. He got exactly what he wanted. And the only reason he's saying that now is he's putting his finger up in the wind, and he believes there's a decent chance that Donald Trump is going to win the election, and he doesn't want to have to deal with Donald Trump.
Yeah, he said, I also think we made some choices that with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Oh, baloney.
Yeah, look, why are you fact checking anything? It's the internet. That's my job to fact check it.
Exactly. They're either a platform or they're a publisher.
Right.
Which one is it?
It is my job to figure out what information I'm consuming, whether it's legitimate or not. You know what I do, Casey, when I see something on the internet? I try to find it other places.
Multiple sources, sure.
Right. Why? Because I've been taught to be a reasonably
discerning consumer.
Yeah, I was going to say, but the problem is we have raised a society of idiots, and then their defense on when they do something egregious like this is, well, the fact checkers, the fact checkers, the FBI came to us and said we should be concerned about Russian. What does that mean? Russian disinformation? Like, there's American disinformation. Every ad most of these people run on both parties is filled with disinformation.
And is that who you want determining what is or isn't
my job?
Misinformation, disinformation. Mark Zuckerberg.
We hear this all the time on this radio station. I can't believe you guys are running so-and-so's ads. This is wrong and that is wrong and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not how that works. Like, it's your job to figure out what's real and what's not. By the way, we're different in the sense that we are actually governed by the federal government, and there are rules related to political advertising. But even if we're on the internet, you got money, pay it.
Yeah.
Your job to figure out what's real and what's not. It's not mine.
Okay, so speaking of publishing, Donald Trump has a new book coming out. It's a fantastic new book.
Oh, of course.
According to him. It's called Save America, and he has hand-selected every photo from his time in the White House to his current third campaign for president of the United States.
It's a photo book?
He said it's a must-have on U.S. history, especially for America First patriots. Get your copy today. You can find it at 45books.com, and it is being published by Winning Team Publishing.
Of course.
And I'm going to let you guess. You can pre-order it today. It ships on September 3rd. There's a couple different options. You can get the regular Save America book, or you can get the autographed, the signed version.
Oh.
Want to know how much it's going for?
Yes, autographed. Tell.
autograph. Let's play Price is Right rules.
Okay. It's signed by him, right?
It's signed, yes.
Okay. And it's a legit signature. It's not a facsimile. $500.
You nailed it. $4.99.
Oh, but I would have lost because it was over.
Yeah, $1 over. If you want to get the unsigned version, it's still $99. So it's a
what?
$100. It looks like it's a hardback, so it's a nice pictorial.
But that's what I'm saying. That's all it is photos. It's not like some tell-all or whatever.
No, but he has hand-selected every single photo. You know what the cover is.
It's him with I can see it right now. It's him with his fist up after getting shot.
Yeah, the assassination attempt.
Okay, so question on this. Why would anyone buy a picture book in 2024?
When you can just have it digitally from the internet.
Right.
If it's you want to show all your friends, put it on your coffee table that, which way you lean politically.
If someone's in your house, don't you think they probably
they already know.
Probably should have figured that out?
Yeah. Talking piece. I don't know. It's a fundraising effort is what it is.
Sure.
So that's the entire point.
$500.
If you want to help his campaign.
You spend a $500 for a Trump autograph?
Nope. Not doing it. I don't have a coffee table.
That's true, you don't. Which is crazy, as big as your house is. You could have numerous coffee tables.
Okay, so RFK Jr. is still on the ballot in Indiana. Although he suspended his campaign and he endorsed Donald Trump, he will remain on the ballot here in Indiana for the election this November.
I should check. We were about to get him on our show before he dropped out.
We should still get him on.
Well, I wonder now if he's not going to do that since he's not really running for president anymore.
No, but he'll have a lot of things to say.
I had that lined up for you. I was doing that for you.
You were doing that for me?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you see how her eyes, I thought
that was nice.
You might have got to talk to Bobby. I mean, your eyes just lit up, lady.
So do you know why that he's still on the ballot?
Yes, he was very clear, and this is what amazes me that nobody has hopped on this. He actually said it during his presser, which is his end goal. And it's amazing to me. No one is talking about this. His end goal, and this is one of the major reasons he actually endorsed Trump, because don't kid yourself, the Kennedys are only in it for the Kennedys, is he wants neither of them to get to 270. He wants neither candidate to get 270, in which then the election would be thrown into the House of Representatives. And he hopes that if he gets enough votes, he will be a viable third option. I mean, it's insane when you hear him say it out loud, but he's the same guy who was shoveling bears off the side of the road.
Yeah,
so.
You never know. The Indiana Election Division said that he missed the deadline for his name to be removed from the ballot.
But I don't think he was trying to get off. I think he said all the reds and all the blues, I'm staying on because he wants the votes. He wants to be able to say, I got 5 million votes or, whatever he gets. I mean, what a fraudster, right? I mean, let's cut the chase.
Is this another that goes in the bull category?
It is. And look, I'm for the betterment of the country, I'm glad that he's, I guess, technically on Trump's team. But this guy is a colossal fraudster. I mean, get out or don't get out. Run or don't run. Either way, I don't care. But if you're someone who gave money to this guy, where are you at right now?
Little bummed.
I mean, not only did you give money to this guy and he's not even going to run for president, he's sided with someone you probably hate. I mean, you are beside yourself right now if you gave money to this guy.
All right, coming up, we have to talk about flush regulations. Yes.
Like toilets?
Yes.
Oh, that'd be perfect for here because somebody can't flush the toilet in the men's room.
That is right. And also a pro wrestler. And possibly your governor, if we have time.
Our next governor might be a pro wrestler?
No, our current governor and what he's doing.
I'd like to throw him in a steel cage match with someone. maybe no holds barred.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC.
Israel and Hezbollah traded a major barrage of rockets. Preemptive strikes.
Another news update is minutes away.
Former President Trump is going to be in Michigan today. Vice President Harris kicks off a bus tour through southern Georgia.
On the level, on the go.
Dangerously warm temperatures.
The index values into the hundreds.
And excessive heat watches in effect.
As events happen.
Shooting that happened this morning.
We'll happen to be there.
Around 3 o'clock in the morning.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Tired of using your Indy summer to
to paint year after year? Then do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
And right now, you can get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
I think it increases the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Michaelis, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night, one phone call, for a gazillion disasters. Over 3 decades of restoring your home or business to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You okay?
Sorry, I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All I need are some tasty waves, cool buzz, and I'm fine.
So yesterday, Carl informed us we have another bathroom bummer on our hands.
Is it fixed?
I don't know. It's the men's bathroom. I haven't gone in and checked. That's your job. Or Carl's, rather.
Kevin. You've been in there.
I haven't been in. He was talking about the actual toilet, not the urinal,
that's
right?
correct.
I haven't used it yet, but I can check.
Yeah,
I know there's that one urinal that's pretty much not been able to flush for several months.
Yeah.
What's going on in there?
Well, I think Mr. Smolian is sending a message to this company that he has had his limit on us being in this building. I think we have another year here maybe or so.
Right.
But I mean we got to you have to have a working bathroom. It's 2024.
Clearly. I don't know if it's him or if it's the people here in this building who are having issues. The thing clogs, it overflows, it floods out into the hallway. It's pretty gross.
But I'm with Kevin. I don't think the urinal being broke is anyone's fault. I think that's a faulty equipment thing.
In that case, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the broken urinal in question, and that is, I don't think anybody did anything egregious like we're talking about with the toilet.
So this is an issue where we need to call maintenance?
Well,
we are renters,
I feel like
right?
we've already sent out an SOS to the maintenance, to help. It really sucks, though, to work at a place where you're uncomfortable going to the bathroom at work. Like
Makes for a very long day.
I just go down to the basement, the gym basement, to use the bathroom.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if...
Stay out of there when I'm in there, though, Kevin.
I'm usually in there in the afternoons.
Oh, that's fine, then. I'm out of here.
Yeah, you're usually gone by then.
Yeah.
Long gone, like 12:01 gone.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if perhaps the culprit isn't a wipe that's not flushable. Like, is somebody, you know what I'm talking about, the man wipes, the whole thing? Those aren't...
You think a wipe caused this calamity?
Multiple. I did a little digging yesterday, and I found this fascinating, that there are wipes, some are labeled non-flushable, and some are labeled flushable.
Yeah.
Right? And there's now regulation that's happening with these wipes. Listen to this. Massachusetts, Colorado, and Hawaii all have laws on wipes.
Oh.
Washington, Oregon, California, and Illinois. You'll notice the theme here with all of these states.
They're all the blue ones.
Right. They've created do not flush laws.
Oh.
California even requiring a public education campaign to keep things flowing smoothly.
Absolutely.
Michigan is the latest to hop on the toilet train. They have House Bill number 4596, which is set to clean up the white game with the do not flush warning labels and penalties for those who don't follow the rules.
How would you know?
Well, that's my question. How would you know, and who's the enforcer of this?
Right, that's a great question.
Were you in there in the bathroom using a non-flushable wipe?
Right, I guess in a public toilet. By the way, do you have a thing about using a public toilet?
Would I prefer to be at home base? Of course, but when nature calls and you have no other option, you got to do what you got to do.
I mean, I have a real thing about using bathrooms in public.
Yeah.
I mean, not like a urinal. I'm talking like a toilet. Because I feel like when I'm in there, whoever comes in is going to be judging me, based on what I'm doing. And there's nothing, Kev, back me up on this.
I'd be judging you if I were in there. I won't be in there, though.
There's nothing more awkward than when you are using the urinal and you just see two pairs of two shoes.
Yeah.
And I mean, something's going on in there. And it's, I mean,
there's just not enough privacy in the stalls.
Right, but it's awkward for you as even the person who's not doing the business. You got to, like, what do? You can't, what do you whistle? What do you, you both know you're in there together.
Light a match.
And you.
At least I don't have that issue as much as you do here at the radio station.
Because there's fewer women employees.
Right.
Right, but I would be nervous even in the sense that somebody might walk in on me, which is why I have to go down to the basement if I have to do that, because I just it's weird to me. I feel like I would be being
Next
judged.
time you head to the elevator, where are you going, Rob? What are you doing? You find a little corner bathroom somewhere. Okay, so Indiana does not have any laws addressing flushable or non-flushable wipes.
Give them time.
You're free to freshen without Big Brother watching.
Give them time, Casey. They'll get there.
So this is a story of the government literally going down the toilet.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's very well done. Anyway, I just fix the toilets.
Okay.
And stop. Fix the urinal. It's the handle's broken. That shouldn't be that hard. I think that's why it doesn't flush. And just stop. Everybody else, just stop. Just stop putting paper towels and everything else. Like, if you have a certain level of release, flush, and then go back for the cleanup, right? I mean, we're adults here. This is not that hard. It's simply not that hard.
I think that's why we need a bidet. Do you think Mr. Smolian would get us some
He probably has
bidets?
one in his bathroom.
I think Mr. Smolian has zero interest in spending any money on this building whatsoever.
Clearly.
I believe there will come a time in the near future where Mr. Smolian will no longer own this property. And I think he sees I'm just reading the tea leaves, right? That he may see, an end game, which is called lots and lots of money. And freshening up our bathroom is not a part of those plans.
Probably right.
So these new laws, they could either rinse out the problem or it's a real sanitary slip-up.
Oh,
Toilet turbulence.
Yeah, there you go.
And thus ends this conversation.
Are you done?
With all my puns?
Yes.
Yeah, the bathroom talk. It is Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
All right, here we go. All right, coming down 3, 2, 1. Hey, Casey.
Yes, Rob.
You're very well preserved, so I hate to even ask this, but are you within 5 years of filing for Social Security?
No, but it's getting closer every day.
Now, I want to point out I didn't ask that to you because I thought you're old. I asked it because it was on the script.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, get this. 96% of Americans, 96% forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's all because they file for their benefits at the wrong time.
Learn how you could avoid this with a free customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demer, your retirement guy right here in Indy. If you've saved more than $200,000 for retirement and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 317-932-9912.
For some people, filing for Social Security early could result in more net income in retirement.
This free analysis pinpoints exactly how you could get the most income from Social Security. 317-932-9912. That's the number. Call Bill Demery today. 317-932-9912.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store. Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great! Come on in and we'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observed that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A hostage rescued. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Israeli forces say they have brought one of the hostages held by Hamas back home. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
Qaid Farhan al-Qadi was kidnapped by Hamas along with scores of others on October 7th last year. The 52-year-old is now back with his family after being rescued by the Israeli military. We're told it was a complex operation in the southern Gaza Strip. Al-Qadi is a member of Israel's Arab Bedouin minority and had been working at a kibbutz that was attacked by Hamas. He's now recovering from his ordeal in the hospital. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is admitting that the Biden administration pressured Facebook to censor Americans. He said that the administration pushed the social media company to censor COVID-19 content. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, Smith Brothers of Burn Furniture is on sale during the factory authorized sale. 1,000 fabrics, 100 leathers, lifetime warranty, completely custom, made in Indiana. It's the best, and it's the lowest price in 2024. Lazy Boy recliners start at $499, and Tempur-Pedic and Stearns & Foster mattresses are up to $900 off. Sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Students who can read by the end of 3rd grade are 35% more likely to graduate. I'm Dr. Katie Jenner, Indiana Secretary of Education, here to tell you how reading 30 minutes per day can improve the trajectory of a child's life. Whether you are reading with your child or they are reading independently, this is one of the most important things you can do to help them succeed. So this school year, please encourage your child to continue reading. It's a small habit that makes a big difference.
Sponsored by the Indiana Department of Education and aired by this station.
Having health insurance is important. So, if you or anyone in your family has Medicaid or CHIP, listen up. Check your mail for a renewal form from your state. Complete the form and mail it back right away so you don't lose your coverage. If you do lose Medicaid or CHIP, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Keep your family covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Buying a diamond has changed. There are mined and lab-grown diamonds. Pierce Jewelers carries both. Pierce can educate you and save your hard-earned money. Shop local. Shop smart. Shop Pierce Jewelers.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
He's doing it again, Rob.
What?
He's doing it again.
Who's doing what?
Your governor.
Oh, no.
Going on another international trip. This is an economic development trip to Slovakia and also Italy.
Oh, maybe they'll leave him there.
I don't think so.
Could we get like a 5-month stranded flight? Be perfect. Maybe they could send him up with those astronauts. Maybe they need a little company up there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're coming back in February, right? It'd be perfect.
Put them up there and don't come back. Okay, so this is going to be focusing on defense, mobility, and racing partnerships for the state of Indiana.
Maybe someone could focus on what Eric Holcomb knew about his best friend and closest political ally, Jamie Null, and how he couldn't have known that his best friend and closest political ally was living, no, I don't even have to say allegedly anymore. He admitted he did it, close to $3 million above his means, and was taking the trips and the planes and all, maybe why won't anyone ask Eric Holcomb about this, Casey?
Well, they can't ask him today because he's on his way to Slovakia right now.
This is what your governor does with this time, and this is really a fascinating thing. And I hope, and I know hope's a horrible strategy, but they genuinely, Holcomb, Hupfer, Republican Establishment Incorporated, genuinely judge. I mean, he's playing governor. Like, he has taken full advantage of the ability to play governor. And they genuinely have judged so much of their success, not on if your life is better, not if you're doing better, not if you're making more money, not if, your education has been scaled up, all of these things that we, disposable income, none of that. It's how many bright, shiny objects could they cram in to the greater central Indiana area. And in most cases, it's how many foreign companies can we bring in to erect these bright, shiny objects.
Okay, so he spent several weeks so far this year traveling. He's been on 4 other trips to 8 countries. And this week will be his 3rd time to Slovakia, including one in 2018 and another one in 22.
And so the greater question becomes, what did you get for all of this? When you reflect on 8 years of Eric Holcomb, what did you get for all of this? Every single tax burden other than income tax, which benefits the very tippy-top people, your tax burden you've been asked to shell out is not just greater, it's markedly greater. Like, it's not even close. The amount of money you are paying, they call them fees. Of course, they're taxes. You have to, pay them, whether it's gas tax, property tax, car related to, everything you're paying more money for. So of all these businesses being attracted to our state were supposed to be so great, what did you get for all the growth?
What did you get? Some people got kicked out of their house.
Well,
their land sold.
And then obviously you go to COVID and the fact that he allowed conveniently liquor stores to remain open. Probably a coincidence that one of his other best buddies and close political allies, Kyle Hupfer, owned a part owner in 30-plus liquor stores, were allowed to stay open. Churches had to close, though. Your business was shut down. 1 million people put out of work, tried to put you in jail for not wearing a mask. He called Malik Muhammad noble. Malik Muhammad now in jail in Portland for attempting to kill cops because Eric Holcomb didn't do anything when they had him apprehended. And then you were called a human petri dish. we're going to look back on the history of this administration and just be ashamed of ourselves. Republicans should be ashamed of themselves that they allowed this guy not only to be the face of the party, to have such power in the party, but to rule the party with an iron fist. Nobody pushed back on this guy on anything for 8 years.
Okay, so this is going to be his 25th International Economic Development trip as governor. Costs for his travel. Are you ready for it? They're covered by the IEDC.
Of course, right, yes, right, absolutely. The shadow government entity. And, of course, then they don't have to, there's reporting requirements and things they don't have to tell you. And so, look, I know that I'm hopeful that next year when Braun is governor, that the Indiana General Assembly on a lot of areas is willing to finally stand up and reassert some authority that they have just, it's pathetic. Grown-ass men that are just scared to death of Eric Holcomb. It's pathetic, Casey. It's gross.
So after he leaves Slovakia, he's going to travel to the Lombardy region of northern Italy, and he's going to meet with representatives from motorsport racing as they develop partnerships there. And he's taking with him representatives from the IEDC as well. But this is one of those things... Right, reminds me of something that Jim said the other day.
Jim, your husband?
He had a doctor's appointment. He went in, and they pretty much said nothing. And he was frustrated by it. And he said, that could have been an email, or that could have been a Zoom call.
Right.
Aren't some of these things, couldn't have been a Zoom call? Like, they made us do it during the pandemic when they shut everything down.
Right, but that's the theme. The Republican Party in this state is run by complete and utter tippy-top elitists. I mean, look at who has benefited immensely under 8 years of Republican rule in this state under the Holcomb administration. I mean, they have made it very clear over the past 8 years that they would much rather work with Democrats than conservatives. They loathe the liberty and freedom movement. And so hopefully next year will represent the turning of a new page. The General Assembly will assert back some level of authority, which they are granted under the state of Indiana. And I mean, I look back on these past 8 years, and I'm just so ashamed of our state, and I'm so ashamed mostly of the Republican Party and what they have allowed to happen, the growth of government, the increase in taxes, all of these things that just should never have been happening with Republican supermajorities.
Holcomb has visited Italy in an official capacity once before. He did that back in 2018.
You know, he only goes to nice places. You know, he never goes like, I'm going to Siberia for some economic development trip.
It's Italy.
He's never going to Iran.
Right.
It's never like North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, could we get one of those trips hooked up for Holcomb?
He's going to like the fashion capital. He's going to Milan.
Well, he is. But look at his whole life. His whole life, he was always the...
Go to Tuscany while you're there. Get some wine.
Eric Holcomb was always the hanger-on. He was never the guy. He was like the Waylon Smithers of The Simpsons or the Benny of The Mummy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was never the guy. He was always the butt sniffer and ass kisser. And he lucked into Sue Ellspermann having a conscience and saying, I ain't running with Mike Pence again because he sucks. And so they plucked Holcomb, who was dead last in a U.S. Senate race, who was completely out of money because nobody could stand the guy, and he was a crappy candidate. And so they plucked him to let him save face, got to be lieutenant governor. I'm sure in his wildest dreams, he never believed Trump would be stupid enough to pick Pence for vice president. And the guy, thanks to Jamie Null, who was one of the deciding votes by the Central Committee, if you believe the tallies, pushed Eric Holcomb across the finish line and let him. Think about that. Without Null, there is likely no Holcomb. And that is why Eric Holcomb got to be governor. And here we are today. But yet you talk to Eric Holcomb, me have no idea what went on with Null. Me know nothing about Null. Null living millions above means? No idea.
So maybe they're on their way to the airport right now, and somebody can ask him, hey, what did you know about Jamie Null and when?
Why? Okay, let's give the media a grace period, right? For provided Holcomb doesn't get stuck or apprehended by some international law enforcement agency while he's over there. They've got to ask him about this when he gets back, right?
Right. And the guy pled guilty.
He admitted he did it.
Yeah.
There's no way Eric Holcomb didn't know something was going on. And a reasonable person would assume, given how close they actually were, he probably knew quite a bit that was going on. Or at least went like this, Casey, and you can see me on the YouTube chat. I'm about to do this. I'm closing my eyes so you can't see me. I'm putting my fingers in my ears and going, la, 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 la.
Or, it could be one of those situations where he knew, but he decided to look the other way because he got his.
Well,
right? He got what he needed. What he needed.
It's very similar to Hogsett and Cook in the sense of what was he going to do? Take down Null? Null knew everything about Holcomb. They're best friends. They're very thick political allies. I mean, everybody knew what Jamie Null was, and there's a whole bunch of people, hopefully, they're going to start having to ask hard questions. And by the way, now that Null has pled guilty, is Holcomb giving the money back? What was it, like $33,000 Null gave Holcomb over the years? Now that you know that he said, I'm a felon, I did this, guilty, 27 counts, is Holcomb going to give the money back?
It'll be really interesting to see
or give it to charity.
If that judge down there will take the plea deal.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, probably, unless there's something new that comes out. I was talking to a distinguished member of the media who heard our interview, and she said she thinks it's pretty unlikely that he won't actually accept that. But come on. Somebody's got to frickin' do something about finding out what Eric Holcomb knew about Jamie Null.
Okay, I wanted to mention briefly that maybe somebody that you grew up watching has passed away. The pro wrestler known as, he was known as Sid Vicious?
Yeah, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid. Sid Udy was his real name. And
passed
he was
away at 63.
Yeah, he was a pretty legendary pro wrestler. I love the 80s and 90s pro wrestling. And Sid was a two-time WWF champion. I think he was the champ in WCW as well, which was the rival. It's it's really hard. I mean, I remember as a kid, like telling my dad, became a teenager and like people you grew up watching play sports. I remember saying, man, it's really hard watching these guys I used to really enjoy get older and retire. And I remember my dad looking at me and goes, just wait till you're like me and they're dead. And I remember laughing at that, but it's true, right? All these people I grew up in sports or wrestling or whatever, they're all dying off. And it is right. It's even a new level of depressing. It's like, oh my gosh, like these people they're no longer with us.
They didn't say what he passed away.
He had cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But only 63, so not very old.
Yeah, that's
here's
really
the
young.
thing, Casey.
Yeah.
Like Hulk Hogan is basically the only one left now.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't really recognize a whole lot of pictures of him until I saw the picture of him with Hulk Hogan. And then oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, famously, the reason people around here may know Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, whatever, was he main evented the WrestleMania that was here in Indianapolis. It was Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice at the old Hoosier Dome, and Sid Justice was in the main event. But 63 is very young. It turns out, Casey, if you spend many, many years pumping steroids into your body, there could be some health ramifications for that.
Some repercussions. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show. 306. That's when we crack the mic. The biggest stories in Indy. We're going to have a lot of laughs. And don't forget the debate party. Tickets go on sale this Thursday. Let's get ready to have some fun. 93 WIBC.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett Kitchen, best-selling author, executive producer, and star in a brand new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception. In this film, we traveled over 20,000 miles interviewing real Americans who've retired successfully with a great lifestyle and peace of mind. They share their stories on how they get more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and the money's never at risk if the market crashes. That's right, if the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even the super wealthy are shifting money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money saved, call to talk to a specialist and get a free copy of this brand new movie at 800-486-9595. This is a $30 value, but when you call today, you can get it completely free. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call right now, 1-800-486-9595. That's 1-800-486-9595. Again, that's 1-800-486-9595.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center by offering the expert, compassionate care you need.
When I was at my lowest, I would have 2 or 3 nurses come in to give me a pep talk, telling me it's okay to feel this way. It's normal, but you have us to support you and you will get through this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Reach your fitness goals in 2024 with the 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
Does our printer work on the 6th floor?
I'm not sure. It hasn't
floor?
been for about a week now. I didn't try it this morning just because every other day it hasn't been working.
Well, we're on the 4th floor, and I know that one's broke.
Mhm.
And it's like freaking office space around here at this point. Like I'm about to turn into Amir or whatever his name was. Wasn't he the one with the baseball bat? But I need a printer because I have to print out my template for the sports betting show.
Right.
And that printer there does not work.
Wait. Back it up.
Yeah.
You're printing out your template for the sports betting show.
Right.
However, when it comes to the #1 rated Kendall and Casey show, no printing, no preparing, just showing up and riffing.
That's right. We're #1. Why would I mess with what works? Here,
okay.
Well, no,
okay. That's hard to argue with. You're right.
I mean, what are we going to be more number one if I put more?
Yes.
I get asked this all the time.
Number one plus, A plus plus.
I get asked this all the time. They're like, why do you put so little effort into your job? I said, because I'm number one.
Because they're allowing you to get away with it.
I can't be more number one. I mean, we're number one plus.
I want David to come in here one day and say, Rob, I'd like to see your work. Like a math teacher. You can't just give me the answer. I want to see how you got there.
Well, okay, so here's a great example. It's like in college, I got 104% in my history of Jimi Hendrix class.
Right.
But
you're going to do better than that?
You can't get above 100%. I was like, do I get extra on my GPA? The guy's like, no, you get an A+.
There you go.
I was like, well, then what was the extra 4% for? I was like, I didn't even take this final, whatever. Point is, number one. Number one is number one. 2 is not a winner. 3, nobody remembers. I am number one. Here's the other part of it, too. Hammer's way more demanding than you are.
This is true.
Like if I brought this half-assed,
he has high expectations.
If I brought this half-assed effort into the sports betting show, Hammer would scream at me.
Maybe I should start working under that.
I'm not going to listen to you because you're a woman. So
nice. Okay, sports guru. Give me your hot take on the Colts.
Well,
this was not on the template, so I'm going to throw it at you. Let's see how prepared you are. They have to make their 53-player deadline by 4 p.m. today. Go.
Wait a second. I want to come back to the printer.
Oh, okay.
I have to print this thing off, but I need to know since the printer doesn't work on our floor. And hasn't. By the way, you hooked up some printer from the 30s earlier, and it was like humming.
I know. I had to put a USB in there and do it that way. It's like one at a time. I told
you. When I first bought my radio station down in Wilmington, it had one of those old tube transmitters, and when you turn it on, it would make that sound. It was like some sort of like nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
That. They built the bomb with. It was like, wow. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
But what you're missing is the growth that you've seen. Because before, when I would do that, I would get so frustrated and I would swear and curse at the printer, right? But now I just, hang on, give me a minute. I'll be with you in a second, Rob. I'm waiting on this printer.
It took forever, though.
Just very calm. Collected.
But it took forever, and
mindful.
I was worried the thing was like shaking and it was like smoking. I can't print off that printer.
No.
Although maybe I'll give it a shot. It works though, right? Let's see what happens. Maybe I'll be able to. Okay, so anyway, does the 5th floor have a printer just like we have a printer? Is that?
I don't know what they have going on.
I bet this is backup. I'm going to try this one.
I bet they have a toilet that works.
They probably do. Yeah, they would never let Sean Copeland be without a working toilet.
No.
They would never force Sean Copeland
unless it's him coming down here.
Yeah, there's no way
It's doing that damage.
He would go ballistic if he had to endure the bathroom, situation that we do. Anyway, you were asking about the Colts.
I can't work under these conditions. Yeah, so they announced 9
status printer is not available at this time. Well, I guess I have to go up to the 5th floor and print this. Let's see, is there a 5th floor printer?
Do you want my USB drive? You can save it on there and then print it out on the slow printer.
There's not even a 5th floor.
Do you have these issues where you work? I'm asking our listeners.
Oh, I was like, yes, I work here. There is no 5th floor printer.
So the Colts, they announced 9 roster moves on Sunday. And they have to have their 53-player set.
That's correct.
By, what is it, 4 p.m. today?
Yeah, so they obviously there's a limited amount of players you're allowed to have on your team. It's 53, and then there's guys that are on the practice squad. And today, 4 p.m. is the day where you you find out whether your printer is offline, the other one. I mean, what is going on in this building? Okay. So you got to cut it down to, is it going to make any difference? I mean, are we believing in the Colts this year? Anthony Richardson has looked awful in those preseason games. Awful. And I've always believed he was highly fraudulent. I mean, the guy had played like 19 career games or something like that, including high school. He is a physical freak of nature. I mean, his ability to run and jump and everything else, off the charts. But I don't know if he's got the wherewithal upstairs to be a quarterback in the National Football League.
So they've got 82 players on the list, so that means they have to cut 29 more people.
Right.
What a bummer day.
You ever had to fire somebody?
Yes.
How'd it go? Did you put a...
Most of the time, I think they know it's coming.
Really?
Yeah. And all the buildup many times is tougher on the firer than the firee.
Oh, really? Well, that's because you're weak.
Well, no, it's just I feel bad for them, and if you give them
Why?
warning and say you're on the bubble.
Oh, you've done that? You've told people like you're on the bubble?
Oh yeah, in today's
Really?
workplace, you got to document.
No kidding.
Yes, Rob. Yes, and verbal doesn't count. You have to have it in writing, because then they'll turn around and.
So
make
how does it go?
trouble
Like
for
pretend you had to fire me. How would it go? Let's play it out here.
No, I'm not going to pretend. With you,
Yeah.
there'd be no documentation. I would tell you you're number one. Get out.
Now, in fairness, one of the major reasons we are number one is because Casey does such an incredible job putting the actual show together, and she spends a lot of time. Now, but in fairness, I do send you a lot of stories.
You do.
And
you text me.
And I read everything I know we're going to talk about.
Can we be honest about that? You text me stories, most of the time they're already on the template.
Right.
And that's why I text back with the thumbs up, like, got it.
So you've already put them on.
Been on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure of like 90% of the stuff we're going to talk about. So I will read those on my own in advance. I feel like if I do it off your template, then I'm being told what to do by a woman, and that is not going to work for me.
You're not going to handle it.
Right. So, I need to come to.
What is this issue with you and authority?
Well, John Mellencamp said it. I fight authority. Authority always wins.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
You just don't like to be told what
I'm just
to do.
I'm just not
by
giving
anyone.
you the authority over me.
Uh-huh.
That's what you like to do. You like to lord over people.
I don't think that I have any authority over you at all.
Who has final say in your house? Is it you or your husband? Who's final boss?
Depends on who you ask.
Like if there's so you don't have an actual decider, like, okay, you win.
No.
Really?
I don't think that's how compromise goes.
I didn't ask you about compromise. I said if somebody has to be final boss, if somebody has to make, if there's a disagreement.
We'll Rochambeau about it.
Oh, you
rock paper
scissors? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
No, I mean, what are we talking about here?
I mean, what could he possibly disagree with you on? Like he has not. Casey has 14 rooms in her house. 9 of them are just boxed up Sports Illustrated.
He told me, he told.
What could he be mad about?
He told me that I'm the one who starts all the fights.
Really?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, he told me that. And but here's the thing, when we were driving back from Lexington, he was going really fast. And I had already asked him to please slow down, and he said, "You're not feeling safe." And I said, "Yes, please slow down." And so he did.
Yeah.
And then we're back in the car, and he was driving really fast. And he said, "You said not to go faster than 75." And I said, "You're in a construction zone right now."
Bad. Oh, yeah.
And he said, "Oh,
Those
yeah,
cameras.
you're right." And he slowed down. And I said, "And by the way, you were going 81 earlier."
Hey, can I just make a point before we go?
What?
IU is a 21.5-point favorite in this game. And John Herrick, who's one of the voices of the Hoosiers, will not tell me who I should take, whether they're going to cover that 21.5. I've asked him 9 times.
He's going to say,
there's
take
John Herrick
IU.
in there getting ready to do the news.
Yeah, you can ask me more. I'm still not going to tell you.
Hi, Ryan Hedrick.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Lynn loves the summers in Indy, but she hates to paint, so she called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Formulated for our specific climate here in Indy and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty.
We truly believe in this product.
Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield is partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Here's Rhino Shield Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
It's not too late to get the backyard of your dreams this year. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up.
The record high for today is 97.
The purpose of this meeting is based on an ongoing investigation.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
Will we deal with issues of anti-black racism?
This is the WIBC News at noon.
A day where water and air conditioning are coming in handy.
A heat advisory is in effect. It's partly cloudy and 87 degrees in the Circle